and we are recording. And our second February episode of
Book Club
Ichikura.
25.
Book Club 25. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Krista Lone Arms Lone Arms says in all caps, book club. I'm not here, but hype.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, Chris is streaming at the moment.
Oh,
Very nice
cool.
of you to stop by, though.
Yeah, say hello. It's nice to. Okay, we'll keep the light on for you. And also,
And
thank you,
Bronto Saver.
Bronto Saber. Welcome.
Yes, this is shiny that you hear, Bronto. Bronto is a great art streamer.
Oh,
I
very
love her.
cool. That's so cool. Well, welcome, Bronto Saber. We really appreciate you being here.
She also has a great accent. I love listening to her speak.
Well, that's good. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. So, get back into business here. We have
Business time.
We do have our two stories this week.
2 authors we haven't talked about before.
Yeah, new authors.
One of whom is still alive.
Wow.
We know what that means. There's nothing written about
her. No, unless she was committed armed robbery or there was something in the news. No, she probably has a LinkedIn.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's got professor pages on universities.
That's true. But I'll find out. Well, I want to know more about her. Who is this? Who's this lovely woman?
Well, what little there is to know about Karen Russell. She is a Miami, Florida native. She was born in Miami in 1981. Her brother, this is how little there is about her. I had to talk about her brother as well. Her brother, Kent Russell, is also a writer.
Very cool.
And she now lives in Portland, Oregon with her husband, who's an editor, Tony Perez, and their 2 children. So she's like our age. She is acclaimed for her distinctive style and the magical realism. Her work is noted for its imaginative, surreal, and often humorous take on the American experience, featuring themes of fantasy, family, and ecology. She's a graduate of Columbia University's MFA program, and she's also taught at Columbia and Williams College, among others. I know Columbia, obviously, but I wasn't aware of Williams College. I'm not up on my American universities.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not that much to say about her because she is actively writing. She has a novel called Swamplandia that's about some alligator wrestlers in Florida.
Wow. So she spent enough time in here to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think she left Florida until she went to university.
That is. I wonder where she went to school down here. Like.
I did see, actually. I didn't note it. It was her high school. Karen Russell. Let's see. I'll tell you in just a second.
Yeah, Karen.
She went.
Not that I know about all the Miami.
She went to Coral Gables Senior High School.
Wow,
in Coral
I know where that
Gables,
is.
Florida.
I know where that
is.
Yes, Coral Gables. Very cool.
Florida Pioneer Village is something that is nearby to it. Good grief. I forget about American grids. Miami is like such a grid.
It is.
So many streets.
I don't like going over there. Too much. Too crazy. Coral Gables. That's like part of Miami. I'm surprised.
That's like in
West.
That's very close to Miami. Like, yeah, it's between Miami proper, West Miami, and South Miami is Coral Gables.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm interested in what I don't see a Spanish last name, so I'm assuming she's not Cuban, but there's a lot of Jewish population in Miami.
Yeah, because let's see, It doesn't have. I think Russell is her maiden name, or she doesn't list her maiden
Oh,
name
oh, I see.
if it's her married name.
Yeah,
Um, no, because her brother is Kent Russell, so it must be her maiden name is Russell.
I see. I see.
She probably was already too big an author to take her husband's name
But
because she
there,
was the
but
National Book Foundation listed her as the 5 under 35 in 2009
mm,
for the short
she has
story collection that we're reading from.
yeah. Well, she does have some Spanish in the story.
That's true.
Yeah, with
That's
the
true.
sister Maria.
Mm-hmm.
I like to. I figured that if you're writing about magical realism and you do it well, I think there's a lot more outlets for you in terms of like maybe movie adaptations and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can have a
Oh,
like a YA following as well with
yeah.
fantasy.
I missed something in my bio that I should have written about. She was a visiting writer at the Iowa Writers Workshop, which has come up before with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
our authors.
Very
And she
prestige.
also
A lot
was
of
at
prestige.
Yaddo
Yeah.
in Saratoga Springs, which is Yaddo's that like artist community that again many of our authors had connections to in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um. But yes, definitely the Iowa workshop. Probably known for like Flannery O'Connor and the whole generation.
mhm.
But it's great that it still has a notoriety and everything.
It's the oldest writing program offering a Master of Fine Arts in the United States.
Yeah, probably longest running.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
So very cool. So and it's really interesting title: Saint Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves.
Yeah. When you sent me this, I was like, I'm sorry, what are we reading?
Yeah, yeah.
Have
I mean,
you broken into my book collection? What's going on?
I mean, there's so many things going on. It's a. I mean, this is the title alone. You know, you're in a magical realism because you're talking about people who are raised by wolves. Not only girls, but boys too in the story. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
so
We have stages in this story of the
yes,
process of de-wolfing.
yeah, yeah. And I like that. There's like throughout the story there are. If you want to follow along, we do have this listed in the Discord. They are like the each part of like parts of the story is like I guess like separated by these stages, which I think I
Mm-hmm.
like that. I like that it adds a little bit to the story too. Like at this stage, you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be like you forget you're in that you have any connection to your wolf pack. You start to question the
Yeah.
world around you. You find similarities. So I
Yeah.
like that they have these little I don't know like I wouldn't call them footnotes. These little
No,
break
it's
paragraph
more
breaks.
like
These little
it,
breaks.
yeah, it prepares you for each section of the story. So we start with stage 1. The initial period is one in which everything is new, exciting, and interesting for your students. It is fun for your students to explore their new environment. And these little excerpts are from the Jesuit Handbook on Lycanthropic Culture Shock. I can't say that.
Lycanthropic, like
Lycanthropic culture shock.
yeah, yeah. The
My tongue's
Jesuit
getting in the way of that.
handbook on lycanthropic culture. Yeah, so it is a mouthful.
Yeah. So
Um,
obviously this is a made up book. But it's
yes.
in the world of this story, this is like the reference material for St. Lucy's Home.
Hmm.
St. Lucy's Home is a school for rehabilitating these girls who were raised by wolves. It's run by nuns.
Hmm.
And we start with this pack of girls. Like they call themselves a pack because that is what they are.
They're
They're
sisters essentially.
yeah, they may not be blood sisters all of them, but they all come from the same pack.
Pack.
Maybe some of them are
Yeah,
cousins by
got it.
blood, but they consider themselves sisters because they all come from the same pack. And they find themselves, coming into the school where they have left their mothers and fathers,
Mm-hmm.
who their mothers and fathers are werewolves, who their children are not werewolves. Werewolfism is not passed down through hereditary. It is, something that passes a generation or something. So
Yeah.
these girls are not going to be werewolves, but they were raised by werewolves. So they act like wolves, but their
They.
parents want them to accept their humanity and follow society norms and become humans, not little werewolf children.
So I mean, are you saying that there's like
Um,
they are evolving into humans? Like so.
no, I'm saying that they have no werewolf in them. The only reason they act like wolves is because they were raised by werewolves who,
Oh, I see.
um, live in the forest and act like wolves all the time. So, so for them, they're never going to be werewolves. They're never going to have that full wolf experience. So their parents make the choice to send them to acclimate to human society.
I see. I see. Cool. Okay. I'm glad that's you explained that because I was a little bit. I was like, was there like some cross, like wolves are like
No,
mating with humans and like this can make this hybrid thing going on, but oop, I think we
oh,
might
there's
have
something going on.
I think we might have disconnected.
Mm.
Let's
I also hear a
reconnect.
noise in the background.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one second. Let me get back onto. Let me.
Yeah.
Are we back?
Don't know. I don't know.
Let me see.
I don't see it yet.
Let me see.
There, it looks like we're back.
Oh. Okay.
There we go.
Did everybody be able to hear it? Is everybody able to hear everything?
Um, I think so. See what the chat says.
Hornet Fixer, were you able to hear everything, or was it off for a second?
I was definitely off for a second on my end.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Is it still recording?
I think. Let me see. Yeah, it's recording. Yeah, it should be good now. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Good
All right.
stuff.
Anyways.
Good stuff. Right. So, what was I saying? Oh, right. So these girls are going to this school to become acclimatized to human culture because they are not actually werewolves. They are just raised by werewolves. Their parents are werewolves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but when they come in hot. They are
Feral.
snarling.
Yeah.
Yeah, their hair is a mess. They're overturning furniture.
Yeah.
there are stage 3 girl. I like how they do this. They just talk about the stages before you've even explained them. But there are
Yeah.
stage 3 girls at the school who are now much more, acclimated to humanity, and these wild children are just like running through.
Yeah.
Um, they don't think it smells like them, so they start spraying, which,
Like
urinating all
dogs.
over the
Like
place
yeah, like
to
dogs.
make it smell like them. And this is, you were saying, the Spanish Sister Maria de la Guardia is like, "Ay caramba, que barbaridad."
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Like see that like this is a lot for the. I think this is the initial like and like this this first wave of these girls coming through is it's a lot. Even for the nuns, are a little bit
yeah.
shocked by their behavior.
Yeah, and Sister Maria as well came from a different convent where, you know,
With a little more, it had a little more
the
decorum.
yeah, so the werewolf girls in Copacabana come in much more uh sedate.
Yeah, yeah,
They're beach wolves. They're different than forest wolves.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're having a hard time this even this like they're not even speaking any English, any language or any language. It's like they have like this wolf language.
Yeah. The sister Josephine calls them backwoods.
Backwards, yeah.
Um
You must be patient with them, she says.
yes, you must be patient with them.
I think one of them clamps down on her ankle.
Yeah, our narrator. I
Yeah,
clamped down on her ankle, straining to close my jaws around the
yeah,
woolly XXL sock.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I get the impression that these sisters are a bit, they're like middle-aged, frumpy women who are just
yeah.
like,
They're like, I
their
can't
whole
believe it.
job is to look after these girls.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, there's 15 of these girls. There's a social worker. So clearly in this world, right? Everyone knows about the werewolves.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a known thing.
Yeah, it's not this,
Everyone's
and that's where the magical realism probably comes in because it's like we're not even questioning reality here. It's
yeah,
this is what's
a
happening.
social worker, some woodsman, a dog, a deacon. These are the people that bring these girls in. Um, so yeah, you're absolutely right.
If normalized, this
It's normalized.
this
Yeah.
this 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 like I guess exchange from the woods to this place. It's like people are doing this, and we find out that it's kind of there's other places like this throughout the story. We find out later, but
Well,
we're talking about St.
yeah,
Luke's as
right
well.
away. Yeah, right away, we know that the boys get separated from the group and they go
Yeah,
off with the deacon to another place.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so um, on page 227, it talks about our mothers and fathers were werewolves. They lived an outsider's existence in caves at the edge of the forest, threatened by frost and pitchforks. So people know about these werewolves, but they're not exactly accepting of them.
no, no,
But they've been ostracized because they kind of steal food from the farmers, terrorize the cows.
yeah. I mean, they act
The
like
local
wolves. I mean, that's like any.
wolves, yeah, but the local wolves don't like them either because they have thumbs. Wait,
Oh,
it
so
says
yeah, so they're between
having
culture, between
sometimes
cultures. Yeah,
thumbs and regrets and human children. So it says here their condition skips a generation. So it's possible that these girls, were they to get together with the boys who were also from werewolf stock, might have werewolf children.
yeah. And
But
they, those and,
if
and those kids
they,
and those kids might be human.
well, these kids are human, but if they got together with other children who had werewolf parents, they could produce werewolves.
I see. I
But
see.
I think the hope is by acclimating them to human society, these kids will find human partners, like fully human partners, and they won't perpetuate the werewolf genes.
I say it's almost like you're getting cats like spaded in a way. Like you're trying
Yeah.
to control their population. They don't want. I don't think they
Yeah.
want like this population to run amok.
No, because, well, if the parents are ostracized, clearly they would not want that for their children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So they
so
want better
uh
That's why I say there's a lot of parallels with this story. You know, like the parents want better opportunities for their
for
kids.
their kids.
I mean, just like I
Yeah.
would think of like someone have an immigrant family like wanting opportunities for their kids. You know, maybe
Yeah, for sure.
they don't have the
They want
schooling
them to
or
acclimate to the country that they live in because they don't want them to stand out as different.
yeah, or just to have enough to learn another language, just to be more of uh, uh, an individual who can get like this more attributes that would help them. So I can see that. So I just like we're going to be doing that throughout the story too, like kind of finding these parallels with society because you see that they want these or half wolves are learning ways of humanity, but also there's some stuff about humanity that's not so redeemable, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we go over a lot of that stuff throughout, like just different social customs and things like that. They're taught, but is it really helpful for them? I think, and their reluctance to sometimes accept them shows
Yeah.
maybe we've like accepted them too easily, you know?
Yeah, it's very I like this one part because we're talking about them being accepted into society. And you brought up rightly so the immigrant thing. Um but it talks about how the parents feel and why they want to what they want for their children. It says our parents wanted something better for us. They wanted us to get braces, use towels, be fully bilingual. When the nuns showed up, our parents couldn't refuse their offer.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
nuns, they said, would make us naturalized citizens of human society. So it seems like what the parents want is maybe actually a hybrid of both,
yeah. They want to be
letting them still
blend.
have a connection. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, saying yeah, that's a good that's that's a good thing to have. Just be able to have both feet in two societies, like to come back to the parent society, the pack, and then also be able to adapt with humans as well. So
Yeah.
that's good. I think that at the core of it, that's what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adaptability. They want that adaptability.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what some immigrants in particular want. Um they want to hold on to their culture, that their
Yeah.
original culture, but equally they don't want their kids to have a hard time. Um and these kids, they didn't know that they were going away forever. They
No.
they
No.
thought they thought
Temporary.
that they would be able to go back, and their parents also thought that.
Yeah.
Their parents also thought that they'd see
Yeah.
their
So
children
maybe
again.
there's a little bit of it's like misleading to the parents and the kids from St. Lucy's home.
Hmm.
And even like the language too. Well, no, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but the language too, how they talk about their old home, I thought it was kind of derogatory. They were like, "Oh, you don't
Yeah.
want to go back there. There's nothing there for you. You had to be civilized." So maybe I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe it was something where they were told that, "Oh, no, you just want them to be assimilated," but then maybe at the end of the day, they don't want them to go back, or at least from the St. Lucy's home's perspective.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they do give them they do give them free reign at first.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
give 'em-
just lock
yeah.
them up. They say, "Okay, today's your first day. You can run free," you know. And they do. They run
They
around,
let them
they dig
burrow into the
holes.
yeah.
Yeah, um they experience new things, like they see a statue and a fountain for the first time.
Hmm.
They're still howling together. Uh but
Yeah.
That's day one,
And
and it
Hornet
soon changes.
Hornet Fixer said they must assimilate to survive. It's true though, because they are already ostracized.
Hmm.
They're going to have a hard time. Just because if the farmers don't like them, and then even the other wolves don't like them, where they
Hmm.
stand, so they need to be able to adapt with everything. So it is true. So yeah, you have this free reign in the beginning, and
Hmm.
then I think they slowly start to take away things from them, or they instill things.
Yeah. Well, the very first thing they do is they uh the nuns want to get their name
Yeah.
because they can't use their wolf names anymore.
Oh yeah.
So
It's the first thing that
Sister
they
Maria, yeah, Sister Maria will go up to a girl and she says, "What's your name?" The oldest sister that's part of this group, um, she responds in the wolf tongue, saying what her name is, and it's inarticulate.
yeah
And Sister Maria nods. She scribbles down a name and she puts a name tag on her that says Jeanette. So
yeah
that's it. That's now she's Jeanette.
that's a hell of a jump.
Um, yeah, and they do this with each of the sisters.
Yeah.
Um, and this is when these wolf girls who at first were just like enjoying the new experience, they catch fear
Yeah.
because it goes from okay, they've gone to a new place, their parents have been left behind, they've been separated from their brothers, but life is still the same in themselves.
Yeah.
And then as soon as this naming process happens, they uh they realize that change is coming.
I'm sure that has something to do with
Um
indoctrination too. Like what, like going right for the name at first. That's you
it's your
rebranding.
sense of self.
It's your sense of self. We were rebranding them.
Mhm.
So it's like they have to go about and I think it's for them. It's like it's very disrespectful just to say, oh, your name doesn't mean anything to you. Like let me just take away this identifying feature. This like very identifying feature is like your language, your name you've been called all your life, and now we're going to give you this name.
This
And they're very
this
like
reminds me of something.
Americanized names too,
Um
like Marabella.
yeah, yeah,
Eh,
they're very straightforward American names.
yeah,
This reminds me of every year I used to have to watch Roots
yep,
over
yep,
lunch periods from 5th through 8th grade. And I actually loved it. It was my favorite time of the year because we would do it in February during Black History Month. Um, the first character you come to know in Roots is Kunta Kinte, and he's the slave that was brought to America.
yeah,
And the first thing that they do once they get him at the house
yeah. One
is
named
they say that
Toby.
his name
Yeah,
is Toby.
yeah. I
And
remember that now.
He
Yeah,
fights that to the point of losing a toe
yeah,
because it's his sense of self. And it's the first like change you see in him when he finally calls him like he finally is Toby.
yeah, yeah. It was yeah. That's a good point because in here in this story, the first thing that is changed is the name. I just think
Hmm.
that there's some kind of overarching like indoctrination type. Maybe if you're
Yeah.
reading like a manual on like how to indoctrinate people, it would maybe say change the name first. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm sure
Yeah.
it's one of the main features in there. Um,
I mean it makes sense though. Like I said, it's your sense of self. And if you can change somebody's sense of self on that kind of level, then you're halfway there to making them whatever you want them to be, you know?
yeah, and they had and they didn't take lightly to these names. I think wasn't it Marabella was given a name, which is going to be a character in this story who is
Yeah,
going to
well, she ran.
she ran away.
So
Yeah,
she's the youngest. She's the littlest sister, but she had the quickest reflexes. And these girls, right? So a human body can't do what a wolf's body can do. So they have
Yeah.
ways of replicating that. So she uses her hands to flatten her ears to the side of her head, like a dog would do when they're unhappy.
Yeah.
And she backs away, snarling. She's only 8 years old, but she is putting the full menace of her little 8-year-old self out there.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
she runs. So it takes them 2 hours to put this "Hello, my name is" sticker on.
They even have to tranquilize her at some point. The
Yeah, later, much later. They don't. Oh no, they do.
right away.
They she yeah,
Just to
you're
get the pin
absolutely
on.
right.
Just
They
to get the pin on
tranquilize
her.
her to
Yeah.
get her. Yeah, and they they say it to themselves. It's overstimulating. That stage one can be overstimulating. So now we're on page 229. We come to stage two.
Yeah.
After a time, your students realize that they must work to adjust to the new culture. This work may be stressful, and students may experience a strong sense of dislocation. They may miss certain foods. They may spend a lot of time daydreaming during this period. Many students feel isolated, irritated, bewildered, depressed, or generally uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, stage one is a little bit crazy because everything is new, but stage two is when it really starts to hit,
Yeah.
and the emotions become involved because now they're realizing what's being left behind.
And they're trying to. It said something about how, like, the wolves are like, they have a lot of instincts, and when they feel that there's like maybe another predator above them, they have to react to that. Not like
Yeah,
well, they may have to fall in line. So like they feel that they're not in control anymore. Their environment is being controlled by these nuns, the
yeah,
humans.
the nuns become the apex predator
Yeah.
to
And
these
and and
girls.
and so like naturally they want to almost appeal. There is something that happens like this, like it's like cats. Like if I have a couple,
Yeah.
I have a lot of cats in this house, in my house, and but one of them knows that this one of my cats knows he's alpha, and the other cats know that too, and they enact accordingly. And I feel like this is happening here. Now they want to kind of try to adapt. So I feel like this some of the on 229 to some of the like the thoughts of these wolf girls. So we would snarl at each other for no reason. I remember how disorienting it was. Look down to see two square-toed shoes instead of my own 4 feet. Keep your mouth shut. I repeated during a walking drill, staring straight ahead. Keep your shoes on your feet. Mouth shut. Shoes on feet. Like they have to remind themselves that they have to operate in this way.
And they're trying,
They- they-
it
they-
is
they-
it is
they-
like a mantra because if they keep doing this, they keep safe, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and like yeah, it's like their way of like they're surviving. They have to. They don't want to be insubordinate. They have to follow the
Yeah.
rules.
And I think as well, this is when the nuns are starting to, it says we want to run. We have never wanted to run so badly in our lives, but who did we have to run back to?
Yeah, yeah,
And this is when they kind of get this like uh this is when you get this kind of realization that home is maybe not some place they can return to.
yeah, yeah. And so they're panic. There is a kind of a panic with this.
And they also feel like it's a betrayal to their parents if they go back, because then their parents sent them there for for a task, for a purpose. So if they go back now without completing that purpose, then they've betrayed what their parents wanted for them.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this. So they're like they're accepting their fate in a way, So they're trying to
And they absolutely are, because it says that physically they could cross that wall and go back to the woods.
if they're honest, but what will happen to them? They don't know what's going to happen to them at all.
No,
So
no.
on 2:30,
They even Sister Josephine leaves the gate open for them as well.
which is a little bit, I don't know, it's very psychological. Like, oh, you could leave.
Do you think it's like a temptation that but
I don't know. That's like a
that
power
messes
move.
with their head?
Yeah, it's a power
Yeah.
move that they would just leave the thing open, and if they're taught like maybe the outside world would eat them up, then maybe it would instill a fear in them that going over that wall could mean the death of them. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're laying it on pretty thick too. The nuns about what they are before and how civilized being civilized would help them, and so I think they're already being brainwashed at this point.
Yeah.
Even at this stage.
Well, it says, we knew we couldn't return to the woods, not until we were civilized, not if we didn't want to break our mother's heart.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting. Like, this is very, I said interesting. Shit. There's this whole thing at play where the nuns are maybe like a little bit being psychological warfare with these girls.
Yeah.
They they are telling them that they're free to go by leaving the gate open, but also they know that their parents expect them to come out of this civilized. They
a little put on too. Like you have to.
Yeah, they change
your
their
parents happy.
name immediately.
Yeah.
There's this whole like psychological game at play. And I think if we compared it to other kind of either like kidnapping scenarios or like the church or other aspects of society, this would play out again and again in different ways, obviously, because we're not dealing with wolf children, but it would be something we would see again and again. A lot of, like, even with the Catholic Church, with nuns take a new name. They often don't have the name that they were born with. Sister Josephine maybe wasn't born Sister Josephine. Sister Maria wasn't named Sister Maria. So it's very, I think it's something that we would see again and again in society.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And even so, like I said, there's a lot of parallels to things here. And I like to. I'm glad we're illuminating that as we go on. So we are at the stage 2, right? Stage 2 right now. What is happening?
We're at stage 2. A lot of them are fully bipedal now, so they're not, because when they first got there, they still kind of walked in this like all fours sort of way with their hands on the ground.
Yeah.
It says the advanced girls could already alternate between 2 speeds, slouch and amble. I love that.
Yeah.
They couldn't make their scent stick because it keeps getting cleaned up, so they feel a little invisible at this point.
Yeah. It's like they're marking the territory, but they're not. Like, if someone's putting like Ajax on it right away.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah. There's so many more human smells that are overtaking.
Which is like, I think for an animal that would be disconcerting. Like you wouldn't know.
Well, again, we both have cats. We know how cats are. Cats are constantly rubbing their face against stuff to make it smell like them.
Yeah. So this is happening. They're being erased in a way, slowly. And
the pack begins to worry about Marabella, because Marabella is not acclimated.
She's not taken to this. Like she's having the worst assimilation compared to the other compared to the other people there, and she's also like she's always compared to some of the ones that are doing well,
Yeah.
like Jeanette.
Yeah. Jeanette is the golden child. But here's the thing. It sounded like the way they described it, Jeanette maybe wasn't the best wolf. Maybe
No,
Mirabella was a better wolf.
Wolf. Yeah, yeah.
But Jeanette comes into this human world and suddenly she's like the top of the pack, you know? The
Well, she's getting ahead by doing different things.
mhm.
She's just kind of being very what's the word I'm looking for? Like this, she's not being difficult. Anything the nuns say, she's doing, trying to do well.
Yeah. She's
You would even in
um
in a different in a they talked about her real name was Spiff her penny loafers until her very shoes seemed to glow like almost like
yeah.
like a little bit of a reference to Goody Two Shoes. So it's
Yeah.
like it's this is one of those times in the story where we kind of I like to make comparisons to the workplace. You have
Mhm.
someone like Marabella who's having a hard time just understanding.
Yeah, like
She,
acclimating to
and she's
corporate
and but
world.
she and like and then Jeanette would be like the person at work who is just kind of sucking up to the boss a little bit, or
Mhm.
just trying to do everything, uh, trying to not make any waves, doing everything perfect. Even if she has
Mhm.
a problem, she's keeping it to herself. And I mean that's just her. This happens to men and women. There's people like this at work,
Yeah.
male and female, that they this certain kinds of personalities. And so it's like how does this compare to what they had before in the wolf world? Like what Shiny was saying, that Marabella maybe in the wolf world would have been the one on top. It would have
Yeah.
been the stronger one. Would have been the one that would be looked at with respect. But in this world, which is mimicking the human world,
Mhm.
there's other things that are like hierarchical type traits that make
Yeah.
someone successful, and they're not always the best traits, because I don't think I think Jeanette is kind of repressing herself
Mm.
in ways,
Yeah.
and she's not being so truthful. She's lying, and she's just trying to
Yeah.
do everything the right way. So like you would think that in the wolf structure, like I said, Marabella would be the best one. But as we know, as we in jobs, we've had jobs before in life. Currently, right? Currently now, you just have those. You've seen those Jeanettes at work,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you've seen those Marabellas too. That are maybe a little
Yeah.
headstrong. That they're aggressive, but sometimes that doesn't always pan out. Doesn't help them.
Yeah. One thing I had marked I really wanted to read out was the main commandment of wolf life is know your place, and that translated perfectly. So here's the thing, there's a lot of ways how wolf is different than human,
Yeah,
but this one thing is, and it's like you said about, the person higher up the food chain, that's who you listen to. And
yeah,
it comes from this main tenet of being a wolf is you know your place. Wherever your place is, you know it and you stick to it. And so the girls who are succeeding here have learned their place. The nuns have told them how they need to be, and they've done it. Mirabella has this instinct of wolfness that she just can't let go of.
yeah, yeah,
And it means that, she's struggling to conform. And on page 232, it says that the pack hated Jeanette. Jeanette, who was the good one, Jeanette, who
yeah.
was successful, um, because she wouldn't respond to her wolf name anymore, which is funny because it's Guar.
Like good
But she
band.
won't respond to it anymore. And it's like you said about her shiny penny loafers. She's the goody two shoes. She's the one who
Yeah,
follows the rules perfectly. Um,
This reminds me of like in culture too, where you have. I know that just growing up in Florida or just spending a lot of time here, there's a lot of like you could be assimilated to the culture,
mhm,
even though we're predominantly Spanish down here. But you could be over assimilated too, which is also looked down upon by Spanish people. Whereas like someone
mm,
like a Cuban or a Puerto Rican who is just like doesn't there's a lot that they over assimilate and they don't want to speak Spanish anymore, or
mhm,
they want to they kind of look down at people uh like they see like other Cubans and they kind of like they think they're separate or other Spanish people, and they see a Spanish person from the island, and then they think they're almost better than them. Like, oh no, that they're
yeah,
like almost like they're indigenous or something like that, and they kind of
mm,
turn their nose at them. So that's why I
mhm,
feel in this instance, like it's like she's trying to be, it's like she's over simulated, and like the whole pack is like going against her because of that. Because she's like, they're like,
yeah,
what? You don't forget who you came from. You don't forget who you are. But like a lot of people, like they don't want to. They assimilate into a culture, and then they want to leave it. Some people want to leave it behind, or they don't. They just think like
yeah,
once they assimilate, they don't want to go back. When they look at other people who
yeah,
are not as assimilated as it's like a negative thing. So it's cool how
yeah.
that, like I said, this whole thing mirrors um, just the way people are in society. Is that a good thing? I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's good to assimilate, but to over assimilate and to forget your culture
Yeah.
is I don't know. I don't think that's
And there's things about Jeanette that are still Wolf, even though she's trying to put it behind her. She still has excellent hearing, probably better than most
yeah.
humans. It's been a
Mm-hmm.
honed skill with her being raised as a wolf. And she still probably has a really great sense of smell, but
Yeah.
she's lying. When
Well,
everybody else
yeah.
comes into a room and their nostrils flare because they smell everything, she comes in and smiles like she couldn't smell anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So yeah, and
she's
that's a big theme here, lying. How like
hmm
what we lie a lot in society to get ahead. So we may not like someone at work, but we may lie and say we do. That's because maybe that person is like the barrier between upward mobility. Like you may say, "Oh, I like this person. Oh, I have to put up with them because they're tight with the boss, so I have to be nice to them." So, but it's like I think we accept that. It's almost like we have we've learned to accept being lying to ourselves for advancement. Like this become a norm. Probably like if you go to like some self help book, it would even allude to that. Like, oh yeah, befriend your friend, befriend your boss, or befriend. Always keep a certain way. They dress it up like you're not lying, but you are lying. But it's just great how like the author here is because we're talking about like wolves or half or human wolves. We're able to kind of see these things for what they are, and how
yeah.
it's like this little competition thing is coming up. Like right, like you could say like Jeanette is creating a competition in a way.
Yeah. Well, and the narrator kind of acknowledges that by saying that the narrator's one of the good girls. She's not great, but she's not terrible. She's solidly middle of the pack. She had an ear for languages, so she very quickly assimilated to using English. Um, and she could read before she could even adequately wash herself. But it says, I probably could have vied with Jeanette for the number one spot, but I'd seen what happens if you gave in to your natural aptitudes. So she notes here that just because you're the best at something doesn't mean you should lean into that. In the
Yeah,
woods, being the best is what you should be. If you're good at something, you do that thing and be the best at it.
yeah,
But in human society, and I would say this probably counts for the workplace as well, sometimes being the best at something is not the correct answer. I know, for
yeah.
instance, as a small example, I was really, really good at our investment trust annual reports. Our investment trust annual reports were the worst job ever. I didn't want to be really good at that because I didn't want to be
To
given
get,
that job all the time because
yeah,
it was shitty.
yeah.
So I kind of look at this in that similar way that, she could be the best, but then Jeanette is the best and is hated by the rest of the pack. So she doesn't want to
So
do
she's
that.
watch. Yeah, she's watching her. She's watching the reaction that Jeanette's getting, and maybe saying, "I don't want to do that." It's almost like it's like someone like like you're good at, yeah, like that's like you said, there could be a job that you are good at and nobody wants it, but then you don't want that responsibility, so you maybe feign like,
Yeah, maybe you don't be as good at it.
yeah, you
Make a mistake
but
here and
again,
there.
at the core of it is lying. You're lying,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a lot different. It's a lot, I think, a hell of a lot more complicated than the wolf world,
Yeah.
whereas
I
things are
for
just
for the
instinctful.
record could not lie. So I got given those horrible jobs all the time.
Yeah, but like I think it's almost like that there was it seemed like the human world is a lot more complicated, where the wolf world was, if
It
that
was
it was
straightforward.
straightforward. You're strong. You're the strongest. If you're the weakest, you die. So it's like, but it's
Yep.
like sometimes we adopt those things in the human world too. It's just that we flip flop. But it's for someone on the outside of not knowing those customs, it could be confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the top of page 233, it says, it repeats, the pack hated Jeanette, but
Yeah.
we hated Mirabella more. So you have the two ends of the spectrum. You
Yeah.
have Jeanette, who's the best, and you have Mirabella, who's struggling the most to assimilate. And the pack doesn't want either of those. They hate Jeanette because Jeanette is excelling and maybe making the rest of them look bad. But they hate Mirabella because Mirabella is a reminder of what they're trying to put behind them. And she is a problem because she isn't assimilating.
But what did you think that is also creating it could create a problem for the rest of them if Marabella is,
Well, I think Mirabella reminds them of who they were and who they're
it makes them
struggling
sad.
to stop being.
So they see her.
So,
It's more of a sadness that they.
I think it's either a sadness or a fear of reverting. If they see Mirabella, you know, gnawing on a bone, which is something they all would have done previously,
They may
she
possessed or
they
more inclined to do
yeah,
that too.
they may want to do that as well.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
if you're on a diet and you're eating well and you're really happy with this diet and the nutrition you're getting, but then you see somebody eating a huge donut and you're like, man, I want that donut. I know that doesn't work on you, but it would work on
yeah,
me.
yeah. Well, for me, it would be a
And
big
it doesn't matter
like
how
a sandwich
good.
or something.
Yeah,
Bread.
yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter how good you feel on your new diet. There's that little bit of you going, "Oh, but I could eat the hell out of that donut or that sandwich or whatever."
And that
You
person
know?
doing that is almost like too much of a temptation.
Yeah,
So Marabella,
exactly
in a
that.
sense, Marabella is like a temptation of the past, of their in fact, not just a past. It's even stronger than temptation. It's an instinct. Like they have to
It's
control
an
themselves.
instinct that they have.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they have to
Yes.
control. Whereas like the Jeanette, it's just like it's more of this. We have to compete with this. Like she's definitely the
Yeah.
alpha right now, and it's just making it difficult.
Yeah. And they all still are kind of fighting with this desire to go back to the way things were. It says even Jeanette spent time looking out into the woods with a vacant expression. They're all daydreaming a bit of their time in the woods. And I
Yeah.
think Mirabella just they're all trying to go towards human society, and Mirabella's like this tie back to wolf society.
But do you think they're also getting a little mad that Jeanette is is feeling these things, but is feeling these having these feelings, but is able to like subdue it better than they can. Like they're like I feel like some of them are saying like, you feel this too, don't you? You're having these, like, don't lie, like you're
But
having
she
these feelings.
doesn't.
Yeah.
If she gets caught at it, she turns on him. You
Yeah.
know, so
But I would feel that like if somebody was, if okay, let's say if you were Spanish and you enjoyed Spanish music, or and then like someone saw you like or you enjoyed Spanish food, and but you were like somehow super assimilated, you didn't want Spanish food anymore, you just wanted American food or something. So like you'd be eating like some arroz con pollo, or like some tostones, and then someone would see you and be like, I don't like this anymore. But they would like, someone who saw you would know that you were liking it. You just got caught, and then
yeah.
somehow like there was something about it. I don't know how someone would. Yeah, I don't know how someone would not like tostones, but but it was just be. It would be like, how dare you repress something that you know you like. It would, at least like for other people looking at it. I just think that some people would look at.
I had to check. I do like tostones. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I use food as like, I don't have any situation that someone would refuse a food of their culture, but it was almost like if she's refusing to like not gnaw at a bone, it would be like she's refusing her culture in a way, her wolf culture,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, it's something that happens when two cultures don't mesh well, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Tostones is maybe a bad example because there is this like, I don't know about in America because I haven't been there for 18 years living. But in the UK right now, there's a huge like, we're pushing like street foods of different cultures,
Oh, that's happening
things
here
like that.
too.
So
That's
like,
happening here too.
yeah. So it would be really odd for someone from the islands to not keep tostones, you know, because like I can go next door to my work right now and get fried plantains.
Yeah, yeah,
Easy.
yeah.
But you know, when my mom was growing up and she was a little kid whose parents were Brazilian, and you know, we ate rice and beans all the time, all the time. There was always rice and beans. You know, maybe she wouldn't want to take rice and beans to school because
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the
That's
other kids didn't eat rice and beans as much. So
and she
she
would be
would be
looked
like,
at. Yeah, she
"Mom,
would.
I just want a turkey sandwich, please, or a peanut butter and jelly
A
sandwich
Lunchables. Yeah,
and some chips."
yeah.
There weren't Lunchables when my mother was a child.
Oh, sorry.
No, there maybe was. Maybe they're a 1950s thing. I don't know. But you see my point is like
Yeah.
she would just want the American food so she didn't stand out.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's comparable to maybe the way Jeanette, or how the other girls are looking at Jeanette.
yeah. Yeah.
And like it's like, because it's a wolf, Scrapple Jack's a cultural persona versus authentic self. Yeah, like she's fighting with her authentic self. She wants to gnaw on that bone. She wants to do wolf things, but but like if other people see her holding back, that they may judge her. I think the other wolf girls would kind of judge her for that. Like, well, why do you
Yeah.
like, do you think you're too good for wolf culture, or like your pack now? Like you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think at the core of the story, they want you to kind of abandon it. Jeanette's doing the best of that job
Yeah.
thus
So
far.
this is at the bottom of page 233 is where we learn the name of our narrator. So they want to instill in these girls some connection to other creatures because you know previously like other creatures were food,
Yeah,
so they're
yeah,
trying, not that you know humans don't eat animals, but they don't just grab a duck out of a pond and start gnawing on it, right? So they're
no,
trying to get these girls to see things that way. So the way that they do that is by, or one of the ways that they do that is by sending them to feed the ducks. So they say, go
yeah,
feed the ducks.
yeah.
They are just, go practice compassion for all God's creatures. Now, our narrator in her head is saying, don't pair me with Mirabella. I prayed. Anybody but Mirabella. And then the sister speaks. Claudette, why don't you and Mirabella take some pumpernickel down to the ducks? So
And she's like, oh
Claudette is
god.
our narrator.
Oh, and she has to, and she's paired up with Marabella, who's the most
Yeah.
feral one.
And she didn't want that, but she still replies, "Okay, thank you." So she's lying too.
Yeah,
You
she's
know?
lying. Yeah,
She's hiding her real feelings. Um,
which is okay in society. That's what they want
yeah,
you to do, which is
but it wasn't fair in her mind. You know, being paired with Marabella is like running a three-legged race with the person whose leg is broken. You know, they're
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
and again, I mean, this could translate to work as well. Do you know, like if there's someone at work who's not doing well, who can't
is
pull
a
their weight.
problem.
Oh, I hope you
Yeah,
couldn't hear that. My
no, I didn't.
stomach just growled.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Um, but you know, if there's someone at work who is a problem, you don't want to be partnered up with them to do a task because
I think
two
of
things
school. I
are
think of school.
yeah, or school when you have the
Yeah.
group project and you're paired. I'm gonna get real like 1980s stereotypes here, but like you're the smart kid and you're paired with the jock, and you know that the jock is not gonna do any of that work on that shared project. It's gonna be all on you. Um, yeah, it's just I see a connection to like other aspects of society in this, and I understand it because I would have been the same way. I wouldn't want to be paired with the person who isn't going to pull their weight.
Yeah, yeah. You want someone who's well. I'd say as someone who's if you know they're gonna maybe not show up,
Hmm.
or do anything like that.
And then you know she's got fear because she thinks Mirabella's going to eat the birds. She's not going to feed the birds. She's going to eat the birds. Um, and I think she's afraid that there is there's a bit of like it coming back on her if
Yeah,
Mirabella
yeah,
doesn't behave. Does she get like painted with the same brush? Um, so
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So she's worried about that happening. She doesn't want. She wants to just kind of. This is the first kind of like I don't know. It seems like it's the first not competition but task they have to do, and like to come out the box with this having to do this task with someone who could maybe be a problem can make it hard for her.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Um, but you know, it does go badly. Uh, Claudette tries to keep Marabella in check and it doesn't work. And Marabella, she just tells her to go away and Marabella runs. Um,
yeah,
and
she like runs right into the like the water and gets like
yeah,
starts scooping up animals and she,
yeah. So much later, they found Marabella wading in the shallows of a distant river, trying to strangle a mallard with her rosary beads. Oh, that was such. I envisioned that so clearly in my head. I was like, dang.
I didn't catch that the first time. I was like, that's a hell of an image with rosary beads. Like
Yeah.
she has this symbol like they gave her. You're like, here we give her, the nuns give her a cross and rosary beads and they're like, here, this will help you out. This will help you calm down. And she's like using it as a weapon.
Yeah.
This is funny.
Um,
That's a hell of a visual.
but again, like she does kind of get um she does kind of get in trouble for this a little bit, you know? Because they made her watch another slideshow. They showed her images of former wolf girls who had failed to be rehabilitated. You know, even though she wasn't the one who um was the problem because of how she reacted to Mirabella, you know, because she reacted to Mirabella a bit like in wolf form. You know, she snarled at her.
Mm-hmm.
She pushed her ears back from her head. She bit her shoulder. So like she responded to Mirabella in the way that Mirabella would understand, but in by doing that, she placed herself in the bad spot because she
Yeah.
reverted to wolf.
Well, and who's
So
stronger in that sense? I think
yeah,
Marabella is more of a threat. So she took a chance by
yeah.
doing that too. So
So, you know, they it's interesting because the final slide says, "Do you want to end up shunned by both species?"
Yeah,
And that is
that's
such a powerful motivator, right?
yeah.
Because it's essentially saying by being yourself, no one will like you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was a horrible thing to
and that's harsh.
That's a harsh thing to say. But that's what I'm saying. This is where the brainwashing comes in.
Hmm.
Like I don't think they want him to be able to. I mean, maybe it initially, if the nuns were going around to these caves and saying like, oh, we will rehabilitate your kids. Maybe they're not telling them that, hey, we're going to rehabilitate them so much that they're not going to even want to be around you anymore. That's the
Hmm.
part that they're leaving out. And
Yeah, that's the part they're
and
leaving
we
out.
want that to happen. And it's
Yeah.
unfair. It's unfair to the parents because I think they just want to do what's best,
Yeah.
but they're being misled too. So, but yeah, so
Well, because of this incident, Claudette tries to remove herself even further from um even further from Mirabella, right? She wants nothing to do with Mirabella because the Mirabella is bringing her down, like
yeah,
making her backslide. So she says she has an incident where Mirabella comes up to her in pain. She
yeah,
has splinters in her hand and is coming to Claudette for help, you know, which probably they would have done for each other as part of the pack. And, Claudette says, lick your own words, your own wounds. She's not,
yeah,
she's not saying it to be mean. She's just, this is what the nuns had said. It is not appropriate in society to go around licking somebody else's hand. So, you know, they shouldn't be doing this anymore. Um,
yeah.
and she feels compassion for Mirabella, but she can't let herself like give in to Mirabella because
And another,
that's
yeah, another work parallel there too, because you ever been at work and you saw someone that's gonna eventually get fired eventually,
mm,
and you really can't help them out. Like you know that it's gonna happen
mm-hmm,
at one point. They're gonna just do something that's gonna give them. They're gonna get that's not a situation they can't get out of, and you see it. You kind of see the writing on the wall, and you don't want to even you don't want to even contribute to it because it could drag you down too. Which I think which it again is normalized, but it's still kind of messed up that
yeah,
we could see that somebody is going to eventually we could see we could see the eventual demise of somebody else and we let it happen. Is that
mm-hmm,
compassionless? I don't know. In that when you put it like that, or when you see a dog or a wolf trying to get someone to lick their wounds, and you're saying I don't want to do that, and
yeah,
it's like you could see somebody. It's like almost like seeing someone crying at work because they keep messing up,
yeah,
and you don't want to even. You just want to let that ship sink in the harbor by itself,
mm-hmm,
kind of thing. And I think we've all
yeah,
have that. But I don't think. But when it's, I guess, whenever they put animals in situations, I tend to look at it differently, more primitively.
mm-hmm,
And I see like the human, almost like the human era in that. Like we let that happen.
mm-hmm,
We let people drown knowingly.
mm,
So like that's what I feel like she's doing. She's creating some distance a little bit.
yeah. And
Um,
it, and it, she says, "I congratulated myself. This was a stage 3 thought." So
yeah, yeah.
the fact that she's kind of like she feels compassion, but she's able to step back from that. She feels like she's made it into the next stage.
Do you think she's happy to make it to the next stage, Shiny, or is it like more of? I kind of read
I
that.
think it's I
Uh,
think it's inevitable.
yeah,
And so
I kind of read like
she may
I'm
be
at this. Oh, I'm at this stage now. Great.
yeah,
Like I'm.
I don't know that I don't know that she's happy, but I think because of the inevitability of it, she's accepting.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
I
I'm
must
moving
be
forward
here.
in this.
I must be here.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was a. I don't. If I could, if you can categorize it negative or like a negative experience or a positive thing, like you wouldn't. It's not like there's no excitability with it.
I would almost call it neutral.
Yeah, neutral. Yeah. I wouldn't. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be on the side of like happiness. Like yes, I made it.
No.
No, it's not that.
No, 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 no. No, it's just she's congratulating herself because she has made it, but it's not a prideful congratulations. It's just like, "Oh, you've hit the next stage." Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've yeah.
Um So I'll read now what stage 3 is. It is common that students who start living in a new and different culture come to a point where they reject the host culture and withdraw into themselves. During this period, they make generalizations about the host culture and wonder how the people can live like they do. Your
Yeah.
students may feel that their own culture's lifestyle and customs are far superior to those of the host culture.
This is over. This is exactly. This is like Cubans that are over simulated that look down on other
Yeah.
Cubans for like having I don't know a Cuban flag on their car, or like or they were like oh that's so you know what's the word damn I can't think of the word like someone like how do what do you say like something that looks gaudy. Like they would like look
Oh,
at
yeah,
some.
yeah, yeah,
They would
yeah.
say, "Oh, that's gaudy," or not. Like I remember. I remember like the Cubans that were living here, or in
Mhm.
there's there's a wonderful Cuban restaurant, and like in the front they like they're playing dominoes. And I remember
Mhm.
I was here. I saw like some looks of other Cubans that were like, "Oh God, look at they're so loud over there playing dominoes. I hate that." And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, this is cool. I was like, great seeing like this hearing like Spanish music and these guys that were just playing dominoes outside. It was beautiful.
Mhm.
But to them, it was like a sign, like a Scrapple Jack would saying backwards. It was for to them, it was like they were looking at something backwards. So Save
Mm.
3 reminds me of that of like oh now because we gotten to this stage we can snub our nose at what we once were like you could say
Yeah.
oh yeah those they must have been like and my wife is Filipino and they would call like OTB off the boat. So you have like Filipinos that were like off the boat that were very like the island.
Mm.
They would do things that were like, and then you had Filipinos that were more Americanized. But there was like a distinction between those that were just came over and the ones that were here. And there were some still Filipinos that would look down at that. There was maybe
Yeah.
they wouldn't be so excited to embrace that, or if they would think that they would be
Yeah.
going the other way. And that's
Well,
what.
yeah, I would say my grandpa was
Oh
definitely
yeah, you
like that. You
stuff you
know,
told me.
he couldn't give up his Brazilianness, but he wanted to make sure that his children did. You know, they got Americanized names. They, you know, my mom, my aunt, and my uncle, none of them speak Portuguese. They could have. My grandparents spoke it all the time at home,
Hmm.
but that wasn't what my grandpa wanted for his good little American kids.
I
So
see. Yeah, yeah. And that's right. Hey, your grand, your grandfather hit Stage 3, definitely.
yeah, he's 100% stage 3.
Yeah. So Marabella after this, she's becoming a problem.
Yeah.
The nuns are noticing that the other sisters are noticing that.
Yeah, she's not trying to
It's
assimilate at all. You know,
yeah,
she's not pulling her weight. She's not uh doing what she's supposed to. She's still like speaking in wolf. She's still, you know, chasing animals.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
um but the nuns have decided that something has to be done.
yeah. It's
Um
stirred up enough to that now it warrants some kind of discipline or some kind of action against this.
Yeah. And Claudette knows about it. You, you know, she's overheard things.
Yeah.
And she says, I would have warned her, but the truth is that by stage 3, I wanted her gone.
That's what I'm saying
Um,
about work. You may see
yep.
somebody that's not doing well, and you want to help them. You may know their family. You may know their kids. Your kids may be friends with your kids, but
Mm-hmm.
part of
Mm-hmm.
you goes, "Let me distance myself because that ship's gonna go down, and I don't want to go down. I don't want to get stuck in
Yeah.
that riptide." And it's like you put it like that. It seems someone will go, "Oh yeah, I'll do the same thing," but is it right? I don't know. We should want to help each other.
Yeah.
Very
And you
individualized.
but the way they see it is you can't help her because if you help her, if you show her the slightest kindness, then she latches onto you.
Yeah,
And
but
no
I
one
mean,
wants to be associated with her because she's a problem.
but isn't that true of people too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure is.
you show someone a nice
Um,
you're happy like someone is having a problem and you're nice to them and they latch onto you because they're like, well, everybody hates me here but you.
yeah.
It's it's just one of those things with individual, yeah. Scrapple Jack in group versus out group. Right? It's really like
Hmm.
the wolf at the core of the story. You have the wolf culture, which is communal, and then this culture, which is
Hmm.
individualized. So individualistic culture is looking out for number one
Hmm.
all the time.
Yeah.
So this that part of for her to understand that she sees Marabella drowning, doesn't want to help,
Hmm.
and wants her out, is she's already there. But that's
Yeah.
she's shedding that collectivism already.
Hmm.
It's quick. It wasn't that long to shed that,
Yeah.
and she has. So go on.
On page 237, we learn that St. Lucy's home for girls raised by wolves is only part of the St. Lucy's experience. There's also St. Lucy's School for Girls. So um, during stage 3, they meet their first purebred girls. So these are girls with no tie to wolves. Um, and this was my favorite line. Let's see if you know why. They had frilly duvet names like Felicity and Belula or Bula and pert bunny noses and terrified smiles. So these girls have been brought in to teach the wolf girls how to play like humans. Um,
Mm,
and the wolf girls are very interested in these girls. But
very
you know,
self-conscious too.
they're self-conscious, they're watching them. Um, they learn that there's so many things that they could do wrong, uh, and that the rules are different based on what humans they're around. Um, and this is all, this is getting into the more finer details of society by bringing in these girls
Yeah,
who
like another level above
haven't been
them.
raised by wolves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of saying like, oh yeah, you should act like them.
Yeah. And so these girls come in and play checkers with them. And it was funny. They call them these girls sure are dumb or sure is dumb. So these are the girls, the purebred girls are coming in and they're kind of letting the wolf girls win. They're kind of trying to give them this false sense of, success. Um,
I wondered about that part. I wanted your opinion about that, Shani. Do you feel like to get ahead of society, you have to act like they're winning, like almost like appease the one who's
I
maybe the stronger one? Oh, you're so smart. Oh,
yeah,
you're like
I'm
it's
not
almost like someone overly complimenting somebody else because they want to get ahead.
yeah, I'm not sure if it's encouragement because if you succeed at something, you keep doing it. Do you know, like if if I I'll just video games are easy for me to talk about. So if I play a video game and I'm playing it with other people and they're like, "Oh man, that was a really good shot you just made." You know, that's going to build me up and I'm going to be like, "Yeah, I want to play this game again cuz like I'm good at it. Let's go." Um I don't know if there's a little element of that, you know, that the nuns are like, "Look, let them win," so that they feel like they're doing a good job, so that they're encouraged to continue
And be like
to,
them.
you know,
Be
put
be like
effort into this and
be
to
like the
be
girls
like you.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, or the other read I had on this was that they're a little bit scared of them. You know,
Yeah.
they know these girls came from a feral background, raised by wolves, so maybe they don't want to get bit, and they're
Or
afraid if they piss
they
these
don't want
girls
to
off.
they don't want to lose the checkers because they can get the ear bitten
Yeah,
off.
yeah, exactly. So they're like, just let them win. Let's not upset them. You know, I'm not sure which way the author meant for that to go, but those are the
Yeah.
two like paths I
It's
see.
just to me it read very patriarchal. Like, oh, this let him think he's smart. Let him think like it's always like let him think he's good looking. Let him think he's the best at this. Oh, you're so good. You're so good. Because it's like that's how you get ahead in life is by appeasing the boss and like over complimenting them. So it's like are they teaching like this thing, this very work type of culture where you have to like over compliment the person to get ahead? Is this like some
Yeah.
like there's some teaching here? But is I like your take too. It's like I think there's maybe
Mm,
a little bit of both going on. So
yeah.
that's on the end of
And
237, right?
237.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Jeanette is comes back up again because she's learning to dance.
Which is like a big step,
Um
literal, no pun intended.
a big
No pun
step.
intended.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
But she's mastered a rudimentary form of the Charleston, so she's doing well. There's also on every Friday, the girls who learned how to ride a bicycle get to have a little chaperone trip into town. Um, and this is where like the sisterhood between the two schools comes in. The purebred girls sold 700 rolls of gift wrap paper and used the proceeds to buy us a yellow fleet of bicycles built for two. So that they could, you know, ride these bicycles uphill. It's a sanctioned pumping. Now, the whole time I've been reading this, I have no idea exactly what they mean by pumping. I did not try to delve into that, but
yeah,
they
yeah.
talk about it like they pump instead of wagging tails they don't have. So I was just like, do you know what? I'm gonna let that go.
No, I do not. I mean, this is not to be crass or anything. I just think that maybe they were alluding to the fact that maybe the motion of riding the bike is very close to something instinctful
Yeah,
that a wolf
maybe.
does. That so like that's how they saw it. They're like, oh yeah, it's like humping something, but it's really like
Yeah.
that was their only frame of reference.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a little bit of worry that it's a little too close.
Yeah.
The motions are a little too close to something that would put them back, set them back. 'Cause they don't want
Yeah.
them humping
Yeah.
furniture and do that. So like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like the active riding a bike could maybe they're doing it with are they riding with the girls or by
No,
themselves?
they're riding into town, but they're riding with the nuns.
Oh, I see.
Um, and the nuns say being human is like riding the bicycle. Once you've learned how, you'll never forget. So again, everything that the nuns do is kind of a lesson for the
Yeah,
wolf girls.
moralistic thing. Yeah. Also, I just to add on, I think there's like a Catholicism component too with this because
Well,
I
for
remember
sure.
because like the higher school is giving gifts to the lower school, so it's like I feel like when you give a gift, there's a sense of guilt, like you have you accepted this gift, you have to do well, you have to appease the gift givers, And I just think there's a lot of like I remember
Yeah.
like my mother told me like the church provided my parents grew up with a lot of money, but they couldn't afford the communion dresses, but the church provided them, so they were like, oh wow, this is great. But it was really like a way, and sometimes it's a way for like the church to hold it over your head, like, oh, we gave you these dresses, so you have to follow what we're doing. Don't like because we provided this for you. So I don't know, like it was just a way for them to school or for them to be more like the girls because they provided this thing for them, so they have a little bit of guilt, like they have to just be able to they have to like do well with it. There's some reason there's some guilt wrapped up in it.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Um, we see that yeah, because if you get a gift from someone, you can sometimes feel beholden to them.
Yeah, that's what like you said that when I was rambling on for like a paragraph of text. You just said that in the most direct way and made more sense than I did. Yeah, you're beholden to them. So like they would want to aspire to be like these more refined girls because they have this gift, and I think that's too. It just seemed very convenient the way they included that little tidbit of information.
So on page 238, the second paragraph, we find out that we're about 6 weeks through the lessons.
It's not that long.
No. Um, but the nuns decide that since only Jeanette is really taking to the dance, the nuns decide that they need to have an incentive to dance. Um, so they plan a dance for a ball, a debutante ball,
Yeah.
that includes the Wolf Boys. So the Wolf Boys are gonna, be brought over. They're gonna have a dance with the two groups, and um, Claudette takes this as the incentive it's meant to be, and starts practicing the Salsalito like hardcore.
Yeah. It gives a lot of anxieties happening right now too because they're like they feel a bit like this little it's like maybe they had 3 stages or 3 challenges and then the nuns are like, well, we have another challenge, we're hiding from you and this is it. It was, I think the girls are feeling blitzed by this new thing.
Yeah. And Claudette wants to be good. Claudette is trying to fit in. Claudette, she's not aiming to be better than Jeanette, but she doesn't want to be bad either.
Yeah.
Um and she has been going after all the girls are asleep and practicing on her own.
Yeah.
But one night she comes back and she finds Jeanette sitting in a patch of moonlight on the window reading one of her books. Um, Jeanette, of course, is the first to get a library card. So, um, but she's reading and her cheeks are wet. Um, she's crying.
Yeah.
And that makes Claudette want to lick her tears away because that's what they would do in wolf culture. But she catches herself, that's not what you do in human culture. Um she this cracked me up. Jeanette blew her nose into a nearby curtain.
I
And it
laughed
says
too.
even
I laughed at that too.
even her mistakes annoy us. They were always so well intentioned. So she's trying to do the right thing by blowing her nose, not just like wiping it on the back of her hand, but she does it into the curtains, which is clearly not okay.
Right.
But she points to a line in the book and it says, "The lake water was reinventing the forest, and while the white moon above it and wolves lapped up the cold reflection of the sky." So she's crying because she has this moment of nostalgia for her wolf self.
Yeah, that part really got me too because If, like she, you could say that at the she's the apex. She's the
Mm-hmm.
highest of all like these of all the students, but yet she's not happy, or she has a moment where she yearns for the past, or yearns for
Yeah.
her culture, and it's like it humanizes Jeanette a lot too. She doesn't seem like at
Mm-hmm.
first you see that, oh, she's a goody two shoes, but maybe she's just trying to survive. Maybe she's just
Yeah.
trying to um like she
And
wants to
she's
do
not
well.
heartless.
Yeah, she's not
She
heartless. Yeah,
hasn't
exactly.
she hasn't forgotten where she comes from. She's just trying to survive where she is.
Yep, yep. And can you
Um
blame her for that? I don't know. Maybe not.
no, not at all. So on page 239 we come to Sundays, where they have to go to church. And uh the chapel seems to be the favorite place of the Wolf Girls because the music feels like howling, like sanctioned howling to them. So
Control the howling. Yeah.
yeah, so these wolf girls love church because they get to sing. Um and
In unison.
uh in unison. They get to do well, but that's what howling was for them. It was a group activity.
Yeah, yeah.
So now they sing in a choir and it feels like howling to them. Um which, kind of is. It's a
And
bunch of people
yeah.
getting together and putting their voices out together in a group. And I don't I don't miss church. I really, really don't. But I have a friend who was raised Catholic who wants to go back to church, not because she believes in any of it, but because she enjoyed the church service.
The singing
So she
too.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, the singing, how there's the call and response that the group all does together, you know, and I've seen that a lot actually in ex-Adventists, even though Adventism isn't quite as rigid in its services. Different churches do different things,
Mm.
but a lot of my friends from around the same, like who are around the same age as me, many of them left the Adventist church, but joined later in adulthood humanist churches, which are not religious. They're the community aspect of church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because they missed that part of religion. They didn't miss a lot of it, but they missed that, like, getting together as a group, you know, doing something all together to a common purpose.
Mm.
Um, and that the church is a bit of a pack mentality. So it makes sense that
Yeah.
these wolf girls feel safe there and feel comfortable there.
Um, I had another like this part really stuck out to me too, and I like that Twitch put a moon up there. It was almost like so like they felt like, oh wow, this is just like singing, like it instinctively they wanted to go out and sing, and I felt like the environment around them in church was like, yeah, go do this. So church is so communal, but I could understand like if I was thinking from their perspective, like the Wolf Girls, it was like
Hmm.
why is it in church the only time that we could do this? And everything else in life is a
Mm,
competition. Everything else
yeah.
in life, everything else is in life you're individualized. But in church, for some reason, in this like this blanket of like this in this area, you have the like it is and like if you really think about church, you go to church as like this the deacon, there's these old world of like, modes of like different labels of people. There's the priest, and then the people collecting the money, and then the singers, and then there's like the decor is different. There's a
Mm,
lot of like call and response, like yes, and especially compared to Catholicism, it seems like we step into church and we go back to a time. Like
hmm
and we're playing like
hmm
we're like cosplay community in church. And
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we get out of church and we're fucking assholes again. And it's like,
Look, you're describing my church experience with other people very clearly right
yeah.
now.
And but I think like if these girls are like going, wow, like it's like howling, like when they're howling, and it's like that's the most communal thing. I feel like at the core of their pack mentality, the most communal thing they could do ever is to howl together. And they finally found something in this like civilized quote unquote culture that is like howling, and like it almost gives them a sense of like a sense of false sense of comparison. But then it's also it raises a lot of questions like why are we like this only here?
Yeah.
And they can't do that anywhere else. They'll get yelled at. They'll get their hand slapped. So it just makes me think of this about this church in general, like those parts of church, and they pass around a freaking thing to put money in to help each other. But I don't think we got out of church and then we fucking some guy asked for money and we just put the window up. So you see how it's like it's this very conditioned place. Is this in the story? This makes it sticks. The scenario just really sticks out to me. The hypocrisy of this scenario. And it's confusing to these girls. Like, oh well, we could be singing. We could be ourselves, but we can't. As soon as they step out of those doors, you can't. It's not about community anymore. But that's just my take on all that. But that really made me ponder a lot. But as I think we can start heading into stage 4. Or am I going too far ahead? I'm not sure. I don't hear shiny. I just hear eyes blinking.
Oh, you don't? Sorry. No, you're in the right spot. Stage 4. As a more thorough understanding of the host culture is acquired, your students will begin to feel more comfortable in their new environment. Your students feel more at home and their self-confidence grows. Everything begins to make sense.
Yeah. Now we kind of go back to we go to some dialogue. And she's like she's like, hey, Claudette, Jeanette growled to me on the day before the ball. Have you noticed that everything's beginning to make sense? And it's like I don't know. It's almost like they're trying to get reassurance from their peers that, yeah, this is good, right? And then while they're talking Marabella, this comes out of nowhere. And it's like just a reminder of their past. Right? And she's like, Marabella's like they're having a conversation, look like they could be having coffees, and Marabella's like in the corner peeing and like ripping up paper. You know? Yeah, she doesn't even speak any words. It's pretty crazy.
No. But Jeanette still tries. She's like, what about you, Marabella?
Yeah.
It's clearly not making any more sense to Marabella.
No. And some people can't. This like, and I think people. I know people like I'm like that in ways. Like some things I just don't subscribe to in society. I can't. I try. Maybe I don't try that hard, but I you know, there's some things that just don't make sense to me. So I could see I identify with Maribel. I'm not sitting there ripping off my hair.
Are you not?
I need as much as I can. It's already gray. I don't need to lose it.
I never thought about this when I was reading, but I know I didn't move to a country that speaks a different language, although sometimes if you hear some Scottish people, it seems like a different language. But I I went through stage 4. You know, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there was a point where I realized that I wasn't asking people what they'd said as much.
Yeah.
I wasn't struggling to pull the right word, you know, because there's things like trash can versus rubbish bin.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Bonnet
I
to
wasn't
the hood.
struggling to, yeah, bonnet instead of hood. I wasn't struggling with those things as much. Um, I knew things about the culture that I could tell other people.
Yeah.
Um, so there was a moment where it started to make sense to me, and it was like, oh no, I'm here now. This is now my place.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand this stage 4. I feel like
Mm.
it's something that you go through as an immigrant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. That's a good read on that. So we're kind of transported into this ball that's been set up by the
Mm-hmm.
nuns. And this is the first time they're linking the boys' school and the girls' school, right? They invited the
Yeah,
boys
since they went away.
since they went away. They haven't seen them since they were at stage 1, before stage 1. These are when they just got out. Like they just got transported from the woods. So there's are these brothers, their brothers, and they haven't seen them. So they don't know what they're gonna act like. It's almost like you don't
Mm-mm.
know you've known somebody for a long time and then they get rehabilitated. You don't know how they're gonna come out. It may be
Yeah.
something maybe better, but maybe scary too. And I just want to add too, this is I feel the anxiety here because going to a dance in general is fucking nerve wracking. Like having to go and like you meet like for the first time and dressing up and seeing maybe somebody you like and having to dance with someone slow dance and thinking you're gonna mess up. But these not only they're
Yeah.
dealing with that, they're dealing with like they're learning how to wear shoes. They're learning how to like even talk and not like these are wolves, so they have to like worry about dancing, but also worry about the mouse that's like that they see in the corner of the eye and that they don't want to like run over there and go into their eat the mouse in as an instinct. Like they have to deal with that, or a
Yeah.
spider, or some rodent, or something like that. They would go in their wolf form, and that would be food.
Mm-hmm.
So they're fighting that, and they're fighting like they're having to worry about the human stuff and the wolves at the same time. So this must be extremely nerve wracking. So I
Yeah.
have enormous empathy for these dancers or for these girls and boys here, and the boys too. They don't know how to. They're gonna see
No.
their other halves in a way for the first time.
Yeah.
They don't want to look. They don't want to look foolish.
Yeah. The last time they were with these girls, they were all wolves. They weren't humans like they are now. So Claudette gets partnered up with Kyle, who used to be, I can't even say that, betrothed.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Betrothed. And they're trying to make small talk. They're talking about the weather.
This is a great part too. You realize how crappy people talk at events.
Yeah, it's like, my stars, I growled. What lovely weather we've been having.
Yeah. Did you see what's on American Idol last
Yes,
night?
Kyle
Oh
growled
my God.
back.
Same.
It's big. Yeah,
Same kind of conversation.
beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it says all around the room, boys and girls raised by wolves were having the same conversation.
Exactly.
So, they're trying. It says they'd only gotten up to Unit 7, party dialogue. We hadn't yet learned the vocabulary for Unit 12, how to tactfully acknowledge disaster. So they're just trying to have some party conversation. Trying not to be as strange as they feel they are.
Which is like
And,
probably as much as it is too is probably the most like comparable or identifiable thing that I see in this story with myself. Like with humans, like it's like, oh wow, they're worried about being weird in front of people too.
Mm-hmm.
at a dance in uncomfortable clothing, in shoes they don't
Yeah.
really normally wear. Yeah, that's pretty much
that
that's
yeah,
familiar.
the description that they have here of the girls is like the nuns swept that's on page 242. The nuns swept our hair back into high bouffant hairstyles. They made us look more girlish and less inclined to eat people, the way that squirrels are saved from looking like rodents by their poofy tails.
that's
um
that's a hell of a. I love that. That's some good writing right there.
Yeah, that stuck out to me. So you've got Claudette's wearing white organdy with orange polka dots. Jeanette's wearing a mauve organdy dress with blue polka dots. Lynette's wearing red with white polka dots. And Marabella is in the corner wearing a muzzle.
My poor girl. Yeah,
It's like they've kind of given up on her, but
but they want to have her
she's
be a part of it still. So they give her a muzzle. Or don't they
yeah.
dress up the muzzle? They put like some kind of ornament.
Yeah, they put little bows on the muzzle to
It's like
make it more festive. But
festooned like stuff to like festoon handcuffs
yeah,
and
but the
ankle
jazz
ties.
band is still the jazz band that they've hired is still shooting her looks like fearful looks because there's a girl in the corner in a muzzle.
Yeah, they
Um
don't know what to do with that. It freaks them out.
um but we've got Claudette here trying to have like a a talk with Kyle. It's not going great.
Mm.
Um uh she Claudette like has a moment of realizing that she smells like a purebred girl. So she's kind of now she's easy to kill. And she has a wolf reaction to that. She narrows her eyes at Kyle and
Yeah.
flattens her ears. And she hadn't done that in months.
Mm.
And
Oh,
Kyle
because
reacts to that with go ahead,
setting.
sorry.
No, I was like you're saying that like she's instinctively like she feels like she's going to be prey,
Yeah. Yeah. And she
and it
reacts
bothers
to
her.
that in an instinctual way, which means falling into wolf. And Kyle reacts badly to that because he's like, "Oh, shoot, yeah, this isn't. She's not acting like a girl. I don't know what to do." And immediately, uh, Claudette is like switches back into talking about the weather, even though they just had this conversation.
They had this whole other
Um,
sub conversation. Like they revert to their human form, but like it's almost like the sub conversation is happening. Like, oh, I don't smell like myself. That makes in the wolf
yeah,
culture. I will be prey. I will die.
yeah,
So I'll like
hmm
let me I don't know, hold back or let me
hmm
get in position of subservience, I guess, which is weird. It's like because there's a guy there. It's fair. I don't know. It's like very
yeah,
feminine, a little feministic here. Like a way. Like
mm,
if you lose your sense, like are you prey? If you put on a bunch of like cologne or put a bunch of scents on, that's not yourself. Are you more susceptible to be like prey? I don't know. Like it's like just some weird things
yeah,
with scents and things. Um, but it's like they have this little moment and then they come and they put that crap that little filler conversation in it.
yeah. So at this point, uh, Claudette is kind of saved by the band, but also it's kind of her downfall because they start playing the Salsalito
Which is the dance she's trying to
and
learn.
the dance she's been practicing. But she realizes she doesn't want to be dancing this in front of people. So she tries to get away. She tries to go join Marabella in the corner. Um, but Kyle takes the lead and pushes her into the spotlight. And all of the sudden, when she hits that spotlight, the only thing her body could remember to do is pump and pump. I was like, oh, poor girl.
She didn't
She
know what to do.
loses the dance completely. Um, Her feet start to wiggle out of the shoes. You know, all of her thing
She's
about mouth
every
shut, keep your shoes on, it starts to disintegrate.
her decorum goes out the window. Everything goes unraveled, and this is like
Yeah.
she doesn't know what to do.
No. And the nun tried to correct her. She said, no, the time has come to do the Sausalito, not whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she starts sweating.
Hmm.
She's just having a reaction. What do I do? What do I do?
She looks to Jeanette because, you know, Jeanette knows what's up. But the thing is, when Jeanette needed help, which we didn't highlight, but Jeanette had a run-in with Mirabella, where Mirabella like bites Jeanette, and Jeanette asks Claudette for help, and Claudette just doesn't want to deal with it and keeps walking. So now she's asking Jeanette for help. What are the steps? And Jeanette's like, no, not gonna help you.
So you think like Jeanette's kind of getting?
Oh, she's absolutely getting her back for leaving her with Mirabella chewing on her arm. Absolutely, that's what
I see. I see.
she's doing.
So she's in the middle of the floor.
Because it says here, Jeanette gave me a wide, true wolf
A
smile.
wolf smile. You know what a wolf smile is? It's a sly smile.
Yeah,
A brat.
yeah. For an instant, she looked just like our mother. Not for you, she mouthed back. So she knows exactly what she's doing. If it had been any
Yeah.
other girl out
Yeah.
there who hadn't like walked past her, she would have tried to help, but she's not helping Claudette because Claudette didn't help her.
So this
Um,
then something happens here. It's probably the most damning part of this the story here is like she now without no one's gonna help her. She's expected to dance. She reaches out to Jeanette. Jeanette gives her a cold shoulder. She's worried about. She's starting to have the realization that if I'm doing this right, I'm gonna lose all my skill points. I'm gonna fail my
mhm.
adaptive test. And so she's
And she's
visibly
about to howl.
yeah, she's about to howl. She's visibly gonna have like what would be a pretty equivalent of a panic attack.
Yeah.
So remember the wolf that was in the corner with the muzzle, Marabella. She senses that and looks like I guess they lock eyes, and
Mm,
Marabella doesn't matter. It it's kind of like she lunges
mm-hmm.
at
Claudette.
Claudette to kind of save her. Like she just sees her that she's
Yeah.
panicking, and the first instinct is just to lunge at her and to protect, like maybe to protect her.
Yeah. And you
She
know
chewed.
what?
It
She
was such an intense feeling that she to get over this, she chewed through her restraints,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
She
she sat there
she
and she was just trying to kind of like just has her like in front of her and barking at other people around her because she sees that she is in panic mode, that she needs to be saved.
um Grok was asking about the muzzle. There's
Oh,
only
the
one line about the muzzle. It says the nuns had tied little bows on the muzzle to make it more festive.
yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah. It was almost like we were saying that before, Grok, that they wanted Marabella to be part of the party, but they also knew that she was a danger, so that it's like someone decorating someone's ankle bracelet from the police
handcuffs or yeah.
handcuffs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Stick a corsage on it. It'll be
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. Like they just kind of like festooned the ankle bracelet, like they
Yeah.
put a little flower on it. Yeah.
Um but so going back to where we were on page 244, Claudette um is appreciative of what Marabella has done for her in this moment.
Yeah.
She
I mean,
says,
it stops the whole place too. Remember that the whole place is a
yeah,
standstill.
the music stops, everything. Marabella has just she's just stopped everything. Um so you know, Sister Maria screams, dropping the flashlight, the music comes to a halt, and it says, and I have never loved someone so much before or since as I loved my littlest sister at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
She is so grateful for Mirabella saving her at that moment. Um, and because everybody else just sees that Mirabella has ruined everything. They
Mm-hmm.
don't understand because they weren't looking at Claudette to know that she was about to lose her shit. But Mirabella knew. And Mirabella does the only thing Mirabella can do, which is stop everything. Be a
Yeah.
wolf and stop everything.
Yeah. And and like I said, I like to make those comparisons to work, to corporate culture, and things like that. And I don't think a lot of people would do what Maribel did because they would worry about their own
No.
reputation. I mean, I guess they
Hmm.
could even go outside of work. You just how would or even would you do the right thing, even if you're the only one who did it?
Yeah.
Are you like are you would you be the one that says, "Hey, that's not cool. We don't like the way you treated
Yeah.
her." When everybody
Um,
else thinks
it remi-
otherwise.
it
It's
reminds me of something that
integrity.
actually did happen at my work because yeah, you're absolutely correct. That is what it is. You know, we went through some cuts at my work. A lot of people were set up to lose their jobs. One person who was high up made the choice. Now, he landed on his feet. I'll say that from the first, but he made the choice to leave his job in order to save two other people's jobs.
Wow.
Um, and you know, he had another job on the go. He was fine in the end, but at that moment, you know, he sacrificed what he had to give two other people a chance. So, you know, this stuff does happen. But of all the people who stayed on, including myself, none of the rest of us did that. None of the rest of us sacrificed our job for someone else to keep theirs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's a standalone thing to do that.
Grok made a good comment here, like Marabella, the Italian name, Bella meaning war, as in bellicose. Yeah, exactly. It's like I think it was that Latin prefix or
Yeah,
suffix.
although I think in this case Mirabella is the Latin is for beautiful. Um,
But it's like but she's also probably in the pack. She would be the strongest. So it's like some kind of
yeah. Oh, she absolutely was the
yeah.
strongest in
She
the
was,
pack.
yeah, she was. That's why she did that, and it was no one really messed
Yeah,
with
it
her.
means the name means wonderful and beautiful, but maybe the choice of name was because, you know, of her strength.
Her strength, yeah. I mean, Christ is part of the story. She really shows it.
Hmm.
But
Absolutely.
so the band from the band quietly packed their instruments into the black suitcases and were sneaking out the back. They were freaked. Uh, Even
Hmm.
the boys had fled back towards the lake. Uh, Mirabelle was still snarling in the center of it all, trying to figure out where the danger was so that she could defend me against it. The nuns exchanged glances. Marabella kind of sealed her fate at that point. They all knew that Marabella was trouble, but I don't think she's not. I guess what you say, she's not able to be rehabilitated. Um,
Yeah. Oh, the girls, the rest of the pack, apart from obviously Claudette, call for her to be sent back to the woods.
yeah, and the nuns kind of
This,
understood this, and in the morning they said Marabella
yeah,
was gone.
yep,
Uh, I guess so. The other sisters were checking under the beds. We all pretended to be surprised. I'm just reading on page 245, the top of page
yeah,
245. I've known she would have to be expelled the minute I felt her weight on my back. Um, so some people, what was it? Was it Claudette that packed 10 lunch pail for her? Just
yeah.
packed some food.
Claudette. So Claudette got a heads up before she left. So everyone else was just didn't know. They just woke up and she was gone. But Claudette had a heads up from Walter. I think he must have been, was he one of
I think he
the
was. Yeah,
caretakers or something?
caretakers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of wanted to allow um, Claudette to have a chance to say goodbye. She didn't want to, though. She couldn't face Mirabella because, I think there was a little bit of guilt here.
Oh yeah.
Mirabella was being sent away because she saved Claudette. So she packs a tin lunch pail for her, two jelly sandwiches or on saltine crackers, a chloroformed squirrel, and a gilt-edged placard of Saint Bolio. And she left it with a little note that said "Best wishes." Um, and she tried to convince herself that she'd done all she could.
No.
Um, but when the pack wakes up, they're just happy. Something's been done. They
Yeah.
no longer have to deal with this problem child. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, it
I like that too about this exchange with Marabella because okay, you notice this whole thing with Jeanette I always forget her the other
Claudette.
person Jeanette and Claudette. They had like this thing where, oh, you didn't help me here, so I'm not going to help you here. It's like back and forth. This reminds you of like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll be nice to you with the expectation of you being nice to me down the road. It's like we
Yeah.
have these expectations. We can't do anything good in life unless we're promised. Like, oh yeah, let me buy you lunch because the next time you're gonna buy me lunch. I'm not gonna say that, but that's an expectation. And that all went out the like with Jeanette didn't help her because it's kind of vindictive. She didn't help her because Marabella didn't help her in the woods, so it was like I'm gonna get her back. But in the wolf culture,
Yeah.
it was like they just saw Marabella just saw, so her sister being scared, and she just reacted. It wasn't like
Yeah.
there wasn't like this whole
Even though Claudette had been not helpful to her, Claudette actively told her to go lick her own wounds.
yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It wasn't
And Marabella didn't hold that against her at
no.
all.
So
She
it's
still
like
helped when she needed it.
these little grudges that we have in life that we say, oh yeah, I'll be nice to you, that you be nice to me. Oh good, invite me over. Now you have to invite me over. It's just this little games, but like I feel like in the culture that in the pack culture, there was panic, and then she reacted. There wasn't doesn't matter, and maybe that's what she feels bad about, that she can't go back to that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Scrapplejack says the word transactional exactly. Everything's so fucking transactional. You can't do something good
And
without expecting.
relationships,
Yeah.
no type of relationship should be transactional. That shouldn't be what it is.
No.
I mean, except for business relationships, obviously.
But even them, it's like that seems. I don't like that.
They can be transactional.
They're always.
No,
So-
but I mean, if you're in business, like, okay, what I mean by that is if I go to somebody and buy something, that's a transaction.
Yeah,
That's what I mean by a
I meant
business
I meant transactional in the way that that the John Steinbeck goes two salespeople arguing about who's going to pay, arguing about paying
Who's
the
going
bill,
to pay for dinner?
but
Yeah.
they both know that they're going to get the tax. They can write it off in their taxes. So
They're gonna get it
so
back.
They're not really giving.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Everything is very
No.
transactional, but they want to seem like they're being, I don't know, it's like
They're
a
being
virtue,
generous.
virtue signaling.
So we get to stage 5 now. At this point, your students are able to interact effectively in the new cultural environment. They find it easy to move between the two cultures. So I guess at the end, they want to be able to dip back into wolf culture without losing all the progress they've made in human culture.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming they're going to be going back home for a time to see how.
Well, possibly to be able to visit, to see their family, because like even my grandparents lived in the United States, but every 3 to 5 years, my grandmother went back to Brazil to see her family.
Yep.
You know, it's that kind of thing. Like they need to be able to possibly go home and see their family. And Claudette does go home. Uh, she right before she leaves St. Lucie, she gets a special pass to go visit her parents. The woodsman takes her because she no longer remembers the way through the woods. She needs a guide. She wore her best dress. She brought some snacks in a picnic basket. And the woodsman, says, I'll wait out here. You go in. But she says, we crunched through the fall leaves in silence, and every step made me sadder. So she's not coming into this like joyfully returning success. She's actually, you know,
A little shame, maybe.
a little sad of this. A little, yeah, maybe a little shame. She doesn't know what to expect because she hasn't lived this life in a while. Um, the cave looks smaller than she remembers, which I think is something that happens to all of us if we go
Yeah.
back to something older than when we left it.
Yeah.
Everybody looks up, but they kind of almost don't recognize her.
Her mother doesn't even recognize her
Her little no, uh, her mother like treats her like a stranger
for a second. She has to smell her.
for a second, and then yeah, and then she's her name is Tur. Um, but she sniffs her and she kind of like she bites her ankle, kind of as a sign of affection, and she's proud of her. And everybody is happy to see her. And, you know, she's there kind of removed. And the
Yeah.
story ends with her saying, "So," I said, telling my first human lie, "I'm home."
Yeah. I love
'Cause
that
that isn't
line.
home to her anymore.
No, yeah, yeah, it's not home to her anymore, um but she's acclimated to she's gotten used to the lying. She's been lying a lot
Mm-hmm.
in this whole story. Little lies. Lies to get
Mm-hmm.
ahead, lies to not be involved.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment she knows she knows that she lied. She's not just lying anywhere. She's lying in the home that she grew up in. So it's different. And I think it
Mm-hmm.
stuck out to her more.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess at the core of it, it just tells us that when we live in an individual society, we tend to lie a lot more.
Yeah.
When we live in a communal society, it's almost everything's out in the open. It's
Yeah.
less rules, um less, I guess, bureaucracy in a way. And
Yeah.
it just makes, when I think of the story, if I think of the St. Lucie school and like their pack that they came from, it's just there's so many rules
Yeah.
of decorum, and it's really
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
and I guess what I liked about the story is I was able to look at them from a different perspective. I kind of look at
Mm.
the culture of society in a sense, not this culture like that ethnic culture. I'm saying like the rules of decorum, and now it's just it's a little, it baffles me because I just uh, you just realize how much of this stuff is lying, whether it be
Yeah.
blatant lies or small lies. It's just so much fibbing to get what you want, to
Yeah.
appear a certain way. We lie a little bit when we take a photo of ourselves and do it on a different angle. We lie a little bit by
Hey,
when
don't come for me.
no, I know that's for me too. Shit. No, but I'm saying like no, but like we lie when we drive a car, or we have a pair of some clothes that makes us appear that we're in a different tax bracket.
Yeah.
We do these things, and then we do them so much that we don't notice that we're doing them, because we can. We accepted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about this, that I can't lie, but I can. I just there's a certain type of lie I can't do. I
Yeah.
can't like bold face lie to somebody's face, but those societal lies that are okay. Do you know, like when somebody asks your opinion of their outfit and you hate it, but you don't say that because you don't want to
Mm.
be mean? That stuff. I do that.
Or
You
saying
know?
that you're good at, like, seeing a job that you're really good at, but you don't want to do. That's a lie
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
You don't want to let them know that you have this. So sometimes I have stuff at work. I have a skill, and I don't want to tell them that I have a skill,
Mm-hmm.
and that they'll be like, you do, are you DJ? Oh, good. You could do the party. I don't want to do this party.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this party, man. I want to go to the party to
Yeah.
eat. I want to have a good time. I don't want to be
Yeah.
bringing my
I don't
stuff
want to
over
be
there.
working.
I don't want to be working, man. So it's like but it's still a lie. It's still like we're only showing parts of ourselves. Where and Marabella is as wild and feral as she appears in the story. She lives very. I don't think her rules of living are short. As a
She
short
lives
lived.
honest.
She lives honest. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And most animals do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's just a lot easier, right? Scrapple Track says role play for harmony versus deceive for advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
kind of
true.
we want to just kind of not we don't want to make any waves now because we just
Yep.
want everything to be good. That includes integrity. Like Marabella ruined in a sense, like she disrupted this whole dance, and that they call it disharmony. But she did it out of love, out of instinct, out of this protection. So some people wouldn't, like I said, I could see
Yeah.
someone. I compare it to someone. If you see someone at a party, someone being weird, so like maybe someone, man or woman, someone being a little too handsy or being in a way that's inappropriate. Are you going to say something right then, or are you going to let it go because you don't want to disrupt the party? That's a
Yeah.
question for some people.
Yeah.
You see
I
something
mean,
going.
I had that come up actually when I was very new to my current team. Uh People were posting like old costumes that they'd had for like Halloween. And uh my current boss posted a picture of herself. And I looked at it and I was like, she's doing blackface. She's doing blackface. I can't let this stand. And it turned out that she had been dressed as the poo emoji, you know the one? Um and so she had put brown makeup on her face.
Oh my god,
And but the picture she posted was her like not wearing the full costume because it was like she was
that's on
coming
her
home.
end. That
Yeah,
was.
and I was like, this is the kind, like I tried to say something without being overly critical. I was like, I wouldn't post that picture anywhere because you're gonna get yourself canceled. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was like, and we just need to think about who's seeing this photo because it was a group chat, like it was our department chat, and there were non-white people in that
Yeah,
chat, and I just like it just hit me so hard, and I was like, I could have not said something. I could have just kept it to
yeah,
myself, played along. I was new to the team, but it was something I felt I couldn't let go because of how, like, I knew that she wasn't trying to do that, but I also knew that if that picture got out anywhere, nobody would question what she was trying to do. They would just
yeah,
go, that's a white woman in blackface.
yeah. So you were like, were you Marabella?
I was Mirabella a little bit in that
Marabella? Were
moment.
you okay? I'm glad you didn't have to chew through your restraints. At least that's
No, no, I absolutely did not.
well, good. This was a short, a lot of conversation from
I
us.
know we went for a while there.
Yeah, yeah. It's great too because we definitely have another one too, but it's equally as compelling. But it was cool. I'm so happy we got to see, like I think we've, every time we talk about these stories, we have like a pre-talk to see, like we have a criteria of things that are good, the things that we like, and the qualities of stories that we look for, that help would kind of bridge or garner conversation. And when we read this, we had like a pre-conversation of how, like, we were just thinking, like, we were like, wow, this is a corporate culture. This is so we did do a lot of connections to just the culture of the job. But it was like, it's great having this conversation because I think more came out, more societal
For
parallels.
sure.
So it was like, so again, thank you. It was cool, like especially everyone's comments too, because it helps us.
Hmm.
We learn so much. Just having this back and forth, just makes it's very fulfilling. But
Yeah.
without further ado, let's think about. I want you to talk about our next author, but as you do that, I'm gonna step out to use the bathroom for a moment, if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay. That's no problem.
Thank you, thank you.
So our next author is Alice Munro. She is a really well-known author. She has a Nobel, or she has a Nobel Prize and a Booker Prize, which are both very prestigious literary prizes. But she started life born in Ontario, Canada, in 1931. Her father was a fox and mink fur farmer, which is not great, but in 1931 probably wasn't looked down upon. But he later turned to turkey farming, so maybe he had a change of heart on fur farming. Her mother was a school teacher, so she had, uh, academics in her life, which probably helped her go into writing. She was of Irish and Scottish descent and began writing as a teenager. She published her first story in 1950, which would have made her 19 years old. Um, at the time, she was studying at the University of Western Ontario for English and journalism. But she had a 2-year scholarship to that university. But at the end of the 2 years, she left school to marry James Munroe. Um, so the two of them opened a bookshop, and I am just going to post a link in the chat of their bookshop, because their bookshop is still active, even though both of them have passed away. Um, and there's this specific picture, just like, it is such a pretty bookshop. I just want to go there and hang out. It was an old bank, the building that it's in. And it's just gorgeous. So I love bookshops anyway, but this one's particularly pretty. Um, but even though they started this bookshop together and the bookshop still operates, they divorced in 1972, and Alice remarried. Someone else that she had met at university. So I don't know if they like kept in touch, or if they reconnected when she went back to teach at the university, but she married this guy. Um, and she was with him until he died. Her work has been described as having revolutionized short story, especially in its tendency to move forward and backward in time.
Mm.
And like I said, she won the Booker Prize. She won uh, the Nobel Prize in Literature. And she only recently died in 2024 at the age of 92.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Live a long life.
yeah.
Also, Canadian little ties. Margaret Atwood, probably another author
Hmm.
that's equally not. I mean, they both have a lot of popularity.
Hmm.
Um, but I
Um,
Munroe is a common in creative writing workshops. A writer who is um, looked at for inspiration, and people, her style is emulated a lot. It's very direct. Lots of stories of the relationship dynamic, people having these like silent epiphanies in rural areas, very similar to like John Cheever or Raymond Carver. So
Hmm.
definitely fits the style that we we tend to gravitate towards for these book clubs for stories. Fits the criteria.
Yeah.
Um, Let me open that up. We had the PDF for this one.
Yeah, we're sorry. This story was through oh,
Paywall.
Scribed was the only
Paywall.
place we could get it, which has adverts, but
Yeah. Let me. Well, I had to subscribe to get my own version. So let me see. Let me open it up. Let me see.
um yeah, I'm gonna when I talk about what page we're on, it's gonna be based on the PDF that I kind of made kind of haphazardly for Itchy and I. It's not a clean PDF. It's all screenshots.
Oh,
Um
is that the one I'm supposed to look at? Free
yeah.
rat. Okay, you sent me that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so
I was
we're looking at the same thing.
exactly. Let me just go to my downloads. Cool. Nice. Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
You're good.
Finally. Okay. So the story is called Free Radicals. Alice Munroe. You
Yes.
wanna set the scene
Which
there?
I'll wait to give the yeah, I'll wait to give the definition of free radicals till later.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so we find our main character Nita is going through grief at the moment. She has her friends and family are calling her, checking on her. Or at first, right after the event happens, her friends and family are checking on her, making sure she's not too lonely, making sure she's not eating too little or drinking too much.
Yeah.
Even though she used to be a diligent wine drinker, but she can't drink at all now, for reasons that will become clear. But she held them off. She sounded nobly grief stricken, she held them off without sounding nobly grief stricken or unnaturally cheerful or absent-minded or confused. She's trying to show them that she's coping. She's handling things.
In
She's
their own
she's
way. Yeah.
getting on with life. But her closer friends, they maybe knew the truth. They know her better. They're not just your average acquaintances who, I think of it in terms of like my mom, the people she knows at church, but she doesn't really hang out with outside of church. Um, so, you know, she wasn't really eating enough. She threw out any sympathy note that she got. She's not really taking that in. And she hasn't told people
About
who
the
aren't
incident.
local what's happened. Um, Not even her husband's ex-wife or his brother. Um, and we find out what's happened is Rich, her husband, had told her he was going to the village to the hardware store. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and he had just started to paint the railing of the deck. That is, he'd been scraping it to prepare it for painting, and the old scraper had come apart in his hand. So he just needs to go to the shop and get a new scraper. And he doesn't come back. And she doesn't really wonder about the fact that he was late.
He's done that before. He's a
She,
carpenter,
yeah,
home carpenter.
he's a carpenter. He goes, yeah. And it says, he died bent over the sidewalk sign that stood in front of the hardware store offering discount on lawnmowers. He hadn't even managed to get to the place he was going.
Yeah.
Um, he'd been to the doctor the week before. Everything had been fine. He had a clean bill of health. So I think they say that, if you live healthy, you don't necessarily live longer. You just live well up until the point that you die. And I would say that this guy lived well up until
Yeah.
the point that he died. You know, it was sudden. He didn't have a long illness. Um, yeah, as far as deaths goes, probably isn't a bad one to have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Nita, she has a couple of friends of her own age. Those are the ones that she kind of is closest to. Um, her, and she can be quite blunt with these
Yeah.
friends about her
Yeah.
feelings. And, she makes a joke about the fact that going to the doctor and getting a clean bill of health kind of maybe should be avoided because it
Uh,
seems like it happens quite often that after this you drop over dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so and she realizes that her younger friends maybe can't handle that kind of talk. They're not as connected to the grieving process because they haven't had to grieve yet.
Mm.
Um, but she gets on with arrangements. She doesn't put a lot of money or
She gets
effort
the
into this
cheapest box to put into the ground
into
immediately.
the ground immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, no ceremony of any kind. She just really
It was so.
wants to.
It was so like bare bones. Like that's bare bones. It sounds no pun intended, but it was so bare bones that that the Undertaker thought it might be against the law that to be
Yeah.
buried in this like shabby little box. But
But the thing
I
about
guess
it is
the husband, yeah, Rich
she
didn't
hasn't done this
mind.
against her husband wishes.
No.
Yeah. They'd already done the research because they'd been preparing for her death. Um because a year before she got a diagnosis of cancer.
Yeah.
So they'd already been researching what to do when one of them died because they thought she was going to die.
First.
Um and she says, "How was I to know he'd steal my thunder?" She was supposed to die and then he does it.
Yeah.
Um
Yep. Yep.
So, people didn't expect a traditional service out of them based on who they were as people, but they did expect some sort of celebration of life. And Rich wouldn't have wanted that. It says here that sort of thing, the sort of thing that Rich had said made him puke. So I feel like, despite, it seeming like she doesn't care because she's not putting any effort into his ceremony, she's done exactly what Rich would have wanted.
Yeah.
Um,
And at the end, that's all that
privately dealt
matters.
with it. Yeah. Um, so, her two friends, Virgie and Carol, they're probably still concerned about her, but she's coping. She's
Doing
getting
okay.
by.
Yeah.
Um, so, turns out her cancer's in remission. It's not gone, but for now she's good. Um, it was her liver that was the main problem, so that's why she can't drink anymore. Um, because her liver's not what it used to be. It's been through chemo. It's had cancer removed from it. So
That's
she
her
does
only
what she can.
that's her only thing that the doctor said pretty much like, hey, you just can't do this
Yeah,
anymore because you have
yeah,
a faulty liver at this point with
yeah.
it's just damaged. Um okay, so it says Rich died in June and it was midsummer. She's kind of just going through the motions of life without him.
Yeah.
She gets up out of bed, she does her normal stuff. Uh she loves to read. It's
Hmm.
like there's a lot of talk of like she's just like she's a bookish person.
Yeah. But she
Oh
isn't reading anymore.
no.
She
Uh,
she hasn't been able to go back to reading.
there's a line in here. It comes up later, but I want to bring it up now about her reading, and it said like, so she doesn't she likes to read, and people think reading is an escape, like fiction is an escape, but she thought life was an escape. which I was kind
Yeah.
of figuring out, like, if maybe she like spent so much time in books that life was like that's how much she read.
Yeah. Yeah,
Almost like
possibly.
she was in her head so much.
That's a good take.
Yeah.
Um
um, but then
yeah, so
we learn,
we
as the reader, we learn that and it's great. I love how Alex Monroe uses punctuation in this way. She goes, "This was Rich's house, period," and that kind of sticks out.
yeah. Yeah.
He bought it when he was with his first wife, Bet. It had been intended as a weekend place, closed up in the winter. Two tiny bedrooms, a lean-to kitchen, half a mile from the village. But soon Rich had begun working on it, learning carpentry, building a wing for 2 new bedrooms and a bathroom and another wing for his study, turning the original house into an open plan living room, dining room, kitchen. It's like this is about his first wife. Bet was interested. Uh, she was like seeing this change in her husband, doing all these like improvements. She bought like a matching apron. Uh, they had no. This is like, I guess it says like they had no children. So like this was like their nest
Yeah,
egg.
it became their project together.
Yeah.
Um so, we talked about this a little bit. It Nita's in a house that has a history that isn't hers.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's
her
like, yeah,
connection to it her
was
connection to it was her husband.
yeah, but
Um
we find out how that connection happened. Uh,
mm,
when
yeah, Bet's like finding her role, telling people about how she's, the carpenter's helper, and that it was bringing her and Rich closer. But meanwhile, Rich was falling in love with Nita.
Anita's the one that's the narrator in the story.
Yeah.
So
So,
from that this relationship was out of an affair. This
yeah. And the first time they were together was in this house.
yeah.
Um, but it's also how they
Well,
get caught because
yeah. First time they
Nita
made
leaves her
love was amid,
sunglasses behind.
and well, it's before you go that they made love amid the shavings and sawn wood of what was to become of the house's central room with its arched ceilings. On a weekend when Bet had stayed in the city. So, like as Shani was saying, uh, Nita, after that exchange, left her sunglasses at the house. Um, and Bet saw it. The wife saw it, and
Yeah.
that was the bomb went off.
Yeah.
Usual arguments, crying, everything else.
Yeah.
And then
Bet leaves, goes to California, and then settles in Arizona.
yeah,
Um, because Nita had met Rich through work, because they were both working at the same university. Nita quits her job.
which forced out a little bit.
Yeah, it was suggested to her that she should leave.
Yeah.
Rich doesn't become the dean of arts, and ends up taking early retirement. He sold the house they had in the city, and they just live in this um,
In this small
live in
kind of
this house
cottage.
that
Yeah,
yeah,
that
this
was
small
supposed to.
cottage in the woods that Rich is, building on. Nita doesn't take up where Bet left off with the carpentry. She's not interested in that. She reads and Rich builds.
Yeah, and Rich likes that.
Yeah, he's fine with that.
He was like, "Oh,
Um,
well, I do my thing, you do yours." Um,
and
yeah,
they become settled. They become settled like any married couple, and she kind of forgets that she had been the other woman. She kind of
she said, "I'm the." What she
forgets
said,
that she
she's the
was,
home wrecker.
yeah, the home wrecker, the happy home wrecker, the ingenue. She was this younger woman. She's 20 years younger than her husband. Um, and she kind of forgets all that. She just becomes his wife,
And I think
and they just live their life together.
if I this is just to make a point here too. I think it's easy to forget that kind of stuff in the middle of the country like this. Like it seems like they have this
Mm.
little quaint provincial area, and they don't have to. I don't know. This seemed like it was, unless they thought about it, they would have to. Unless it was something that they were, if they were in the city, maybe they were see friends. But this place wasn't in the city. He sold the city house, so this was a retirement house that was kind of away from things. So I could see how she would maybe forget about the situation. I can see how easy it would be to forget about the situation because you're not. Maybe if they're in the city, they would be running into old friends, maybe of Rich. And I'm not sure if how close to. I'm not sure how close the university was. Maybe the
Yeah.
I'm assuming the university was in the city.
Yeah, the university was in the city, so they've kind of removed themselves from
All that,
the
yeah.
society that they were in when she was the other woman.
Hmm.
Maybe no one in the village
Knows, yeah.
knows that
They
she's
could
the other
live.
woman. They know that there was a previous wife and now there's a new wife, but maybe they have no idea how they
That
went
came
from one
about.
to the other. Do you
And that
know?
could that's advantageous to them because they don't have to have that conversation with these people.
Yeah, yeah,
This new neighborhood.
um, yeah. You know, um, they it seemed like they lived a good life. They were the house had a row of cedars on one side and a railway embankment on the other. Um, there wasn't a lot of train traffic, so it wasn't like that made a lot of noise for them. Um, and it was kind of overgrown with weeds, so that there wasn't trains going on it all the time. Um, she she teases Rich about making love up on the embankment, and it says she was on the verge of menopause, and that is one of the there's like they go through all the symptoms of menopause with you, and it's either reduced sex drive or increased sex drive. It's like, which one is it? But it could be either. So they still have like adventures together, even though they're older.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so she
It's
she
kind of
now
she's
has to
settled
kind of
in. She's settled
yeah
into
they
this whole thing.
settled into this life together, and now she doesn't really know what to do with herself. Do you know? She's in places where he isn't.
Hmm.
He wasn't in the smaller bedroom where his shaving things still were. um Nor was he in the bedroom which she had tidied and left. He wasn't in the larger bathroom that they only entered to take tub baths. Tub baths, that cracked me up. Um, he wasn't in the kitchen,
Hmm.
which had become his domain in the last year because, he was
Doing work in
looking
there.
after her. Yeah,
Oh.
and he was doing work on the deck as well.
Hmm.
So, she's she's just noticing all the places he isn't. And he isn't in the study. That was where of all places his absence had to be most often verified because when he's not anywhere else in the house, maybe he's in his study,
Well, he
doing
was a
stuff.
professor. He was a professor. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly. So, you know, she hasn't touched the study. There's still books lying face down that he was partway through. There's piles of paper that he was, looking at, and she just can't deal with that. She can't go in there. It seems like too big a task.
mm.
Um, and she knows one day she's going to have to enter the room. She's going to have to deal with stuff in there. But right now it feels like she's invading his space. She's invading. It says she would have to invade her dead husband's mind.
But also, we talked about this prior that at this point she may have not talked about these things. I mean, we mentioned in the beginning of the story that okay, this her husband passed on. She's gonna have to contact old friends, contact his ex-wife, his first wife. I think if you're living in this kind of ignorance, like for 30 years. Let's say they were married for 30 years, and she's living in this. She's living with this guy that she had an affair with 30 years ago. That's like they're very I don't know, a vacuum of existence. But now that he's passed on, she's gonna have to like talk to people that from his past, and that's gonna also bring up the fact that she is the homewrecker. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think that this is like having to think about that also made her less like her agency like in the house kind of diminished more too. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of looking at this house like this is Rich's. She says this is Rich's house.
Yeah.
Before maybe before he died, they would
Mm-hmm.
this is our house. But because he's died and she has
Yeah.
to look at this stuff honestly in the face,
Mm-hmm.
she understands it as not being hers. So and this is I just think when some people, and we've talked about this, when you have upheaval, horrible life events, you have a hard time. You maybe things that you were once confident about, you're not anymore. Relationships or your place, you kind of lose your footing. And it seems like
Mm-hmm.
she has lost that for a time because also she's dealing with her own illness that wasn't
Yeah.
expecting was expecting to outlive her husband, and her husband drops out of the blue, and now she's sitting
Mm-hmm.
there with all this stuff, and almost I kind of like a existential moment where this is not mine, this is not my stuff. Do I really? Where am I in this mess? So like she reverts back to reading, right? Uh she she likes to read. She likes to try to like she's going into the fiction back again. Um,
Yeah.
just wants to fill her
Well,
mind with.
she um you actually skipped ahead a little bit. She says that she can't deal with study, but she can deal like she'll have to deal with the cellar first, which was
Mm,
another area that was mostly riches. Um
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, she does talk about it would be page 6 of our PDF.
yeah,
She talks about sitting there being surrounded by her books.
yeah. And,
Um but um her friends, her two friends, Carol and Virgie, are still ringing every day to check on her,
yeah.
and she tells them she's okay. Um and she would come out of her lair soon. She just needed time to think and read and eat and sleep. And it says it's true, except for the part about reading.
Okay, I did
She
that. Did
sat,
see.
yeah, she sat in her chair surrounded by her books without opening one of them. She had always been such a reader. That was one reason Rich had said that she was the right woman for him. She could sit and read and let him alone, but now she couldn't stick to it for even half a page.
It was almost like she needed him.
Mm. Well, it's the thing that she loved doing, but she just couldn't find her joy in it
I think what I
anymore.
meant, like she was trying to find, like she went to the cellar looking for like maybe the being surrounded by books would be what
Mm.
would give her some kind of temporary joy, but that didn't even work. Maybe the
Yeah.
active setting was maybe would have been therapeutic, but I don't know. She couldn't get through a page.
Hmm.
Um,
And she's not just a one-time reader either. She goes back to books. It lists books here that she had read multiple times: The Brothers Karamazov, The Mill on the Floss, The Wings of the Dove, The Magic Mountain. Um, these ones she would read over and over again. Sometimes she would pick them
Thomas
up just
Mann.
to read a certain, yeah, just to read a certain passage and end up reading the whole thing in one sitting. So, you know, she also read modern fiction, but it was always fiction. And this is where it says she hated to hear the word escape used about fiction. She once might have argued, not just playfully, that in real life that was the escape.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I like that line a lot.
but now it's all gone. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
everything's.
just Rich's death either. It was her illness.
Yeah.
We don't know when she stopped reading for sure. It might have been while she was ill.
Yeah.
Um, and she thought that reading would come back to her once she was done with the drugs and the exhausting treatments, but it hasn't yet.
Yeah, yeah. So there's something
She
happens. There's a change of scene here. Well, it's not a change of scene, but
Mhm.
someone enters the scene.
Yeah.
She hears a knock on the front door.
Mhm.
Um, someone was at the door. She didn't expect anybody here. It's a small town, so was really expecting
Mhm.
company.
And they're not
Uh,
really on a main road or anything. Somebody
yeah,
has to actively come to her house.
yeah. And she noticed it was a young man standing outside the screen door, which was hooked, so it was already locked.
Mhm.
He was there, kind of like I'm not sure how long he was there, but he
Yeah,
was.
he hadn't knocked. She just opened the door and he was standing there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
This is some. I
so he
love
was
his
looking.
dialogue. Yeah, I want to read his
Go
dialogue
ahead, sorry.
here. He goes, "I didn't mean to startle you. I was looking for a doorbell or something. I gave a little knock on the frame here, but I guess you didn't hear me." And she's just like, "Sorry, I." And he said, "I'm supposed to look at your fuse box if you could tell me where it is." Which I think it's like, I don't know. Maybe this was some kind of arrangement she had because something that's mostly mentioned in the story. Because Rich seemed like the one that was the could handle the maintenance in the house. He was a carpenter,
Yeah.
so like maybe this was
Yeah.
something that maybe something had to was an issue with the house that now that Rich was gone, she would have to call. Maybe prior to that, she
Yeah.
wouldn't have to call. So this for me, when I read this, I was like, okay, yeah, she had a handyman. Okay, come through.
Yeah, she just accepts this, yeah.
So I do. I accept it.
Um
Um,
but yeah, she lets him in.
yeah,
But she tries to, if you could tell me where it is, and she has to think about it for a second to remember. And then she said, "It's in the cellar. I'll turn the light on, you'll see." Um and he comes in and he takes off his shoes and she's like, "Oh, you don't have to do that. It's not raining." But he does. He says he makes it a habit. He doesn't want to leave dust tracks even.
very courteous,
So,
courteous guy.
yeah, very courteous. So, she goes into the kitchen, but she's not able to sit down again until he leaves. She's kind of like that hovering, like making sure he has everything. He goes down, she opens the door for him, he goes down, and then he comes back up and she's like, "Did everything go okay?" He's like, "Yeah, fine." Um, and then he asks her, like, she thinks, okay, he's done, I'm gonna send him away, but then he asks her for something to eat.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You don't happen to have anything you could fix up for me to eat, do you? And she noticed that there was like a change in his voice. Like his
mhm.
demeanor kind of changed a bit. Uh, she compared it to a television comedian doing a whine or some kind of a bit.
Yeah, like a put on
And
voice.
then he didn't like she kind of got a better look at him. He didn't look as young as she thought. Maybe he just looked different in the in the door in the screen door.
Yeah, she'd seen him looking skinny and she read that as youth, but maybe it was more that he's uh
Haggard.
wasted rather than boyish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and then he explains. He goes pretty much saying that, hey, I know this. I'm here. I usually try to eat before I do my jobs, but I'm diabetic, and sometimes if I don't eat, my system's all out of whack. So she was like, oh, no problem. So he asked if she had coffee. She has tea. They have, she's not getting food all the time. She just lost her husband. She's probably it's just by herself. She's not really thinking about grocery runs, so she doesn't have a lot of stuff
No,
on
she's
hand.
probably eating like bare bones, like
Yeah,
um I think my mom, after my stepdad died, she ate a lot of apples with peanut butter. And I was like, that's not enough. It's not enough of a diet, mom. You got to eat more than that. But
yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of, you just go into survival mode a bit.
yeah. And I think she has some eggs on hand, and she makes him some eggs, some English muffins, and he made like a joke. He says English, Irish, Ukrainian. I don't care. So like this just seems like it's nice. So it's like maybe it's like to me, it's maybe the company. Well, it's nice to have this random visitor and just have the company of somebody, especially after something like this.
Yeah.
Um,
And she goes to set the table, gets him a plate and a knife and a fork. Uh, and he picks up the plate and says, pretty plate.
and
And just as she looks back at the eggs, the plate smashes on the floor.
yeah, and he says, and she's noticing. I like the author's saying he said in a new voice, a squeaky, indefinite, nasty voice. Look what I gone and done. So
Yeah.
we're kind of like, what? Who the hell is this guy now? Like, he broke a plate on
Yeah,
purpose.
we're kind of going through the same thing she is at this point, you
Yeah, we're
know?
kind of like, okay, who's this person?
Hmm.
And he's must have slipped through my fingers. This is him saying this.
Yeah.
Um, I guess she's a little confused by this. She gets another plate. But he starts to pick up the pieces of the plate that broke,
Hmm.
and he sits back down on the chair and the kitchen table, and he gets like a sharp piece and he puts it into his arm
Yeah.
and he scrapes
He
it
cuts his forearm with it. Yeah.
slowly. And
And it's not a deep cut. It
no,
just
it's
like
just this is enough
beads
to leave
up.
a bead. Yeah, it's just to leave a bead of blood.
Yeah.
And he's like pretty much he has a disclaimer. He's like, "Oh, it's okay. Don't. It's just a joke. I do this for a joke. It's if I was
Yeah, he
serious,
said if I wanted to be serious, we wouldn't have needed ketchup, eh? Which is just gross.
yeah, yeah. So there were still some pieces on the floor. Uh, she turned to get a broom, but he caught her arm, like grabbed her. He said,
Yeah.
hey, pretty much, you sit down. You sit down right while I'm eating. He said,
Hmm.
and he kind of showed her his arm again, his bloodied arm,
Yeah.
and just to kind of keep a hold of her. I don't know, like why was she was worried. I don't know what he was worried about her running away or something. But he wanted her to sit with
Yeah.
him and kind of showed that arm as a way to say, I don't know what he wanted to say with that. What do you think he wanted to say, Shiny? Like,
I think it's just he's a little bit off his rocker and he's just being a bit menacing, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Um and he clearly does need to eat, but he also wants to keep an eye on her. Um because I think he recognizes that his behavior is probably starting to put her in unease.
yeah.
Um and
And he's there's a
yeah,
part I'm on a part on page 11. I like to read this dialogue.
yeah.
There was a little exchange with this stuff in the house. She was getting him tea and all this, but still she's
Mm.
apprehensive. And then I think I don't know. He says, "I'm sorry." Um, or she says,
No,
"I'm
no,
sorry." She says,
she
"I'm
says
sorry,"
I'm sorry
and he's like, "Don't go saying
because
you're
all she
sorry."
has is all she has is tea and
And yeah,
eggs.
and then he asks her, "Are you scared?" And she looked at that as, is he trying to like taunt me?
Yeah.
And she
But she
answers,
treats it as a serious
yeah,
question.
yeah, she's like, she says, "I guess I'm more startled than scared." I guess. I don't know. But she says she doesn't want to say she's scared because she doesn't know what this guy's going to do.
Yeah.
And he flipped the script. And he says, "One thing you don't need to be scared of. I'm not going to rape you." And
she hadn't even considered that.
no, she was like, "I hardly thought so," because I don't think she's kind of an older woman too at this point. Not that older women don't get raped, but it was just like I don't think he was like one of the things that was going through her head at the moment.
No.
And then he kind of had like this kind of explanation of like why he would not rape her, and it was pretty much this masculinity thing. Like, well, I don't like
it goes all over the place.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't, if I'm gonna do that, I want to be with someone that is like younger. Like he's pretty much saying like I wouldn't do it with you, but it gave her like a backwards compliment. I don't know, like. I want to do it with. If I'm going to do that, I want to do it with a nice lady and someone who is like who would like me or would like them. So I guess like it was his way of saying that he would be disinterested in doing something like that, which is like I don't think interest is a component of rape. Like it's not like
no.
It seems
it's a violent act. It's not a it's not a desire.
It's a violent. It's a one-sided act too. So, and she's like awkward too in the best way. She's like, "Thank you for telling me."
Yeah.
like almost like sarcastically, like, "Oh, thank you for letting me know that I'm not rapeable."
Yeah.
And then he seemed like, I don't know. He seemed like whatever that he did was intimidating to her. And then he asks, he's like, "Is that the car? Is that your car up front?"
Yeah. And she's real honest.
Yeah.
She says it's her husband's car, which of course he's then like, "Well, where's the husband?" Mm-hmm. And again, she's honest. She says, "Oh, he's dead. I don't drive." Like,
I meant to sell it about a half of it. And there's like a little like addendum here. She's like, "What a fool! Like, why did I tell him that?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she realizes that maybe wasn't her smartest move, but
yeah.
And he asks what year it is. Like, oh, is it 2004? Yeah, I think so.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, he's full of questions, and he asks, "Does it run okay?" And he asks when the last time her husband drove it, and
she has a date. She has a date.
Yeah, it's the day he died.
Yeah, the day, the 17th of June. I mean, I wouldn't know the last time someone drove my. I mean, I know because I just drove it today. But like maybe if it was a car sitting out, it's not information that you would readily have available. But the fact that the day that he drove it was the day that he died, it would stick out in your mind.
She knows that date.
She knows that day. Yeah. I like this part. You got any gas in it? He goes, "I would think so because he's dead."
Yeah, nobody's driven it since it got driven back here. So.
Yeah.
And he asks her for the keys, which she doesn't. She's not carrying around the keys to the car. Like, she doesn't drive. Why would she? So, he stands up. He's done with his breakfast, which, by the way, I wanted that breakfast as I was reading it. But
it's a good detail here. He pushed his chair back and he ran over the glass again, the plate.
Yeah.
And it kind of startled him. He's like, "Oh, Jesus."
And then he sat back down again. But he's tired.
Yeah, he's not thinking. He's a little bit off.
He thought it'd be better if he ate because he was so tired. And it turns out he was just making it up about being diabetic. He wasn't diabetic. But something's just so tired, like tired him out so much. And she shifts in his chair, but he like jumps and he's like, "I'm not that wiped. I couldn't grab you. It's just that I walked all night."
Yeah. He knows he's wiped out, but he's also trying to be menacing. So he's like,
Yeah, still
don't
intimidating.
like, I'm tired, but don't think I'm not too tired to like, grab you if I had to, or kill you. It's like this back and forth, which is, to somebody an onlooker is like, this
Mm,
exchange is very, it made me uneasy.
yeah.
Um, yeah, he said he pretty much just like to go forward in the story. Like he just walked. He saw a train track. Like he from where he was at, he saw train tracks and just kept walking.
Yeah.
And then like just kind of ended up in this little cottage town. Um, and then ended up in this person's in the front door. Like he just walked and walked and
Yeah.
walked and walked.
And um, he says that he could have taken his dad's car, but he had enough brains not to do that. And um, she gets the impression that he wants to explain what he's done. He wants her to ask about what he's done. And,
Where he was, where he's been.
yeah, why did he need to,
Walk
leave where
all
he
night
was and walk all night?
on train
But
tracks. Yeah.
she doesn't really want to, but she also, because she knows the less that she knows about him, the better it'll be for her.
Yeah, she don't want to know
But she
something.
also she also realizes that because she's like had cancer, because she probably will succumb to cancer again, it kind of made her not scared for her life anymore. She knows her life has an expiration date on it. I mean, we all know that, but like she knows more specifically. And so she's not really scared of him.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It kind of puts the whole cancer diagnosis on the back burner for her because he's like, well, I've been through it, and I lost my husband.
Yeah.
Wait, so
Yeah, what can you
and
do to me
I
now?
don't think he's the brightest guy either. Like he
Mm-mm.
if he's like if she could like figure out, oh, you're gonna tell me a story, and like I think she predicts that, oh, you're gonna tell me a story now, and he's like, I'm gonna tell you a story. It's like it's just his conversational cues are very I don't know, predictable,
Yeah.
very pedestrian way of
And
talking.
yeah, and he asks her, want me to tell you a story? And she's very honest. She said, I'd rather you just leave. Like, take the car and go. um, but
We
he
get the
says he will.
backstory.
He'll leave. Yeah, but he's like, I gotta tell you a story first. And he shows her a picture. Um, I'll just read this part. It was a photograph of three people taken in a living room with closed floral curtains as a backdrop. An old man, not really old, maybe in his 60s, and a woman about the same age were sitting on a couch. A very large younger woman was sitting in a wheelchair, drawn up close to one end of the couch, and a little in front of it. The old man was heavy and gray haired, with eyes narrowed and mouth slightly open, as if he were asthmatic. But he was smiling as well as he could. The old woman was much smaller, with dyed brown hair and lipstick. She was wearing what used to be called a peasant blouse, with little red bows at the wrists and neck. She smiled determinedly, even a bit frantically, her lips stretched over perhaps bad teeth. But it was the younger woman who monopolized the picture, distinct and monstrous in a bright muumuu, her dark hair done up in a row of little curls along her forehead, cheeks sloping into her neck, and in spite of all that bulge of flesh, an expression of some satisfaction and cunning. Um,
Hmm.
I wanted to read that just because, like, it was a very good description. I
Yeah,
couldn't have done that better myself, but
yeah,
also it gives you a very clear idea of where this man comes from because that's his mother and his father and his sister.
yeah.
Um,
Madeline was his sister's name. She
Madeline,
was in a
yes.
wheelchair. He says she was born funny, so that's why I didn't think he was a bride as Cran and
No, because he
Chaser.
doesn't understand. We don't know what she has, but she clearly has some sort of um
Disability.
developmental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he describes her. She ate like a pig, and he was had this animosity towards her. He didn't really get along with her.
No.
She says she said, quote, throwing anything at me she could get her hands on and knocking me down and trying to run me over with her fucking wheelchair. So like she's like part of my French.
Yeah.
So he had this sister with a mental handicap sister, and he kind of felt that he was being shunned a little bit,
Mhm.
and then the sister was getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And the narrator,
That
she
yeah, that
starts to
can often happen
yeah,
though with
yeah, which is not
families where somebody needs special
more,
attention.
yeah. And she kind of plays into the empathy part. She goes, "Oh, it must have been hard for
Mm.
you and your parents." And he described it as his parents were churchgoers, and the preacher told him that your daughter does not have an affliction. She's not. There's nothing wrong with her. She is a gift from God, and you're lucky
Yeah.
to have her. So they kind of now she took on like biblical proportions. Like she was,
Hmm.
they kind of saw her as like this like mythical figure in the house. Like they did everything for her, and then with him they just
Hmm.
kind of they were somewhat ignored him, and it ate at his at the way he felt, at his demeanor. He wanted to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
He just is like, I don't want to be here anymore. Why am I going to be here? It's like I'm going to live in this. I'm going to go myself. And then it was like some bragging about, I once I got out of there, I made a promise for myself that I'm not going to like ask for anything from my parents. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to take the money. I'm not. He compared it to like I'm not going to live off the government. I'm not going to sit around and drink my ass off and live off government money. I'm going to get any kind of job I can and support myself. But I would never go back there. And then like something happened where I guess his father got a hold of him, right, Shiny, and then like was telling him, "Hey, we're doing like our will, and we're aware of the way we treated you in the past and all
Yeah.
the stuff the
Um,
attention we've given your sister.
yeah.
We
So he says that, you can have the house.
You could, yeah, the house is as a way of showing our appreciation of you, and to maybe right the wrongs that we've done to you. We're going to give you the house. So he's
Yeah.
like, okay, well that was, he goes, that's the deal. And then I think what
And
doesn't
he's,
he
well,
gets
no, he
there.
says he said, yeah, they're about to agree everything. Or he says that to him, but then it comes time to actually
Do the
get everything
paperwork.
sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his dad says, of course you understand the deal. And he's like, what deal? And his father says, it's only a deal if you sign the papers that you will take care of your sister as long as she lives. It's only your home if it's her home too. And he's
Hmm.
like, no, this is new. That's not what you didn't say that there was a deal. You just said when you die, I get the house. And I assume she'd go into a home.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then it was even more on
And
that. Like they were like, well, if we do sign this, then you'll take care of her, and we'll make sure you take care of her because we'll have your aunt check on you down
yeah,
the street. And like this, I guess it
yeah.
was like this aunt who was this horrible person.
She's yeah, his mom's youngest sister, and she was one prize bitch.
Yeah, and she was going to be like oversee to make sure that he was doing everything right. So it's not like he was going to
Hmm.
live in peace. He was going to be also
No.
taking care of his sister and being watched, micromanaged by this
Hmm.
aunt that he didn't like.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
he kind of agree. He's trying to sort things out, right? He's trying to agree to, he's talking about agreeing to it. So he says, "Can I come over and eat dinner with you this Sunday?" And his family's quite glad because, he's been kind of, when he got a chance to leave the house
He's been a
or leave home, he
wayward
he
child.
left. He didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't hang around. He didn't want to stick around with this, sister that he couldn't stand. So, they're just quite happy that he's coming over for dinner. Um, and he says he gets to the house and the first thing he smells is his mom cooking chicken and it's wonderful. And then he smells Madeline and she smells awful. Um, his mom washes her every day, but the scent still remains. Um, so he acts nice, he tries to be good. He says, "Oh, this is an occasion to take a picture. I got this new camera that, spits out a picture immediately." So he does that, takes the picture, and then his mom is like ready to get back to the kitchen. But he's like, "No, no, just hold on a minute. The picture's going to show up in a second." Um, and while they're waiting for the picture, he shoots them.
He returns with a gun and shoots them,
Yeah.
and then takes another
And then he
picture.
takes another picture. Yep. So he has a before and after. And he shows that to Nita. So that she now has seen proof that this man is a murderer.
Yeah.
Um, and he was like, "Man, it felt so good. I handled my stuff." But then he realized that he thought maybe Aunt Rennie would be there and he'd take care of her too, but she was
On the church trip.
not there. Yeah, she was on a church trip. So now he realizes Rennie's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So he's got to go. He's got to go. Um,
And that's
but
what, and that was the
he ate the
catalyst.
chicken.
He ate the chicken, sat there with the I'm sure with the family on the floor, shot.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible
Yeah.
environment. But he was this ate this chicken like in the midst of this
He didn't want to take any with
terror.
him because if they sent dogs after him, he knew that the chicken would be easy for them to smell.
I don't see. That's why I think he's a little bit off. Like why? That's the first thing he's worried about is the chicken smell.
Yeah, they're gonna smell him.
Yeah,
Like,
you smell
these
him,
dogs
yeah.
are trained
Yeah.
to follow a scent.
Yeah, he's definitely
and
he's no
dogs can
murderer.
smell, yeah, much more than chicken. Um, but now he asks her for something to drink because he hated the tea. He did not enjoy the tea, and she's like, "I don't know because I don't drink anymore." Um, but she finds some wine that's left and she gives it to him, and he says it's good stuff because it has a corkscrew. She also admits in this section that what page is it? It'll be 17.
Yeah, I might have
She
that.
admits that she is scared. Um, this man has admitted to being a murderer and he's in her house.
Showed her evidence of the murder.
Yeah, showed her evidence of the murder. And so, she admits to being scared to herself. Um, she says her cancer was not going to be any help to her at the present moment, none at all. Um, the fact that she was going to die within a year refused to cancel out the fact that she might die now.
Yeah.
But she goes to the drawer, but he jumps and pushes her aside, and he's like, "No, no, I don't know what's in that drawer. You could maybe, try something." So, and she's like, "Well, he gets all the knives out, puts them on his chair so they're out of her reach, and then opens the bottle with the corkscrew." Um, she says she was just gonna get up to get glasses, but he says, "No, I don't need a glass. You got any plastic?" Uh, she says no. And then he asks if she has cups. So she gets down 2 cups. I'm guessing like mugs.
Yeah, yeah.
And she says, just very little for me because she's not meant to be drinking. And he says, "Oh, and me because I've got to drive." But then he fills his cup up to the brim.
Yeah.
So, And she says, this is the connection to the title, free radicals. He's like, what's that supposed to mean? And she says, it's something about red wine. It either destroys them because they're bad or builds them up because they're good. I can't remember. So I looked up the definition of free radicals to be sure I was telling the right thing. Free radicals are a byproduct of natural metabolism, but also a byproduct of smoking and pollution, things like that. They're molecules that are missing an electron. So they come into your body and they steal electrons because they want to be whole. They don't want to be missing it. And they contribute to illness and to cancer. They're a thing that is not good for you. She couldn't remember. They're not good for you. Um, so they're unstable little things that are seeking balance. That's the important thing, I think.
But also like the connection
Um,
too. I think that these are two people who are also seeking a little balance with each other.
mhm.
So that's like I feel like that's a connection to like this very human situation. There, there's like this some equilibrium that has to happen here. Like or just like it's the power imbalance in this. I think that throughout the story at this point, we don't know if like I don't think he knows if she's gonna do anything, and she definitely thinks he's unpredictable. So it's like
Yeah.
they're at this in this limbo right now.
Yeah. And when he goes to sit down, she says, "Watch for the knives when you sit down," because he's put them on his seat. So and he comes to he's like he puts them back in the drawer so he can sit, and he asks her, "You think I'm dumb? You think I'm nervous?" And she says, "I just think you haven't ever done anything like this before." He said, "Of course I haven't. You think I'm a murderer?" I love that he thinks he's not a murderer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this,
killed him, but I'm not a murderer. And she like she is kind of trying to appease him through this. She agrees there is a difference. Um, but then she tells him, "I
she
know
want
what it's like. I
yeah
know what
no
it's like to get rid of somebody who has injured you." And he's like, "Yeah." And she says, "I have done the same thing you did." He's like, "No way, you never did that." Um, she's like, "You don't have to believe me, but I did." And she starts to tell him a story. She says she poisoned someone. Um,
yeah, it
and she
was
says
not
she
a them,
poisoned.
it was a
Yeah,
her.
it's not a them, it was a her. And she said there's nothing wrong with the tea because he started to freak out that maybe she poisoned him in the tea.
Yeah.
Um, and she says the tea is actually supposed to prolong your life. And he says, this cracks me up because this is something I've heard so many people say. He's like, don't want my life prolonged if it means drinking junk like that. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
but he says, can't they find poison in a body after it's dead anyway? And she says, I'm
Mm.
not sure that's true of vegetable poison.
Yeah.
I think it is, but anyway. Um, but she says that there was a girl that her husband was in love with, and he was going to leave her and marry this girl. He told her, and she'd done everything for him. They were working on the house together. He was everything she had. They
Hmm.
didn't have any children because they didn't want them. She learned carpentry from him. Even though she was frightened of going up ladders, she did. He was her whole life. And he was going to kick her out for this useless whiner who worked in a registrar's office.
Mm.
Everything we worked for going to her. Was
This
that
sounds
fair?
this sounds very familiar, right? This is
Yeah, it sounds like her story, but she was the girl, not the
the
wife.
wife. Yeah. Um.
Um so so he's like, "Well, how did you get poison?" And it's very easy. We eat rhubarb, but only the stalks are edible. The leaves have a poison in them. So she was able to extract the poison in her story, able to
Yeah.
extract the poison from the rhubarb and make two pies. One she made without the poison in it, one she made with the poison in it. And she took the pie, or two tarts, sorry, but she took the pie and she found this girl still working, even though her husband was away at a symposium in Minneapolis. And she's like, "Hey, I was nearby. I have this pie. Do you want to have um, some pie?" And he says, "I hate rhubarb. It wouldn't have worked on me." I love that he just has this little interjection.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, "Well, it did with her. The building was deserted. Nobody ever saw her arrive or leave, so she got away with it."
Yeah,
And
she gave
he says,
this
"You,
woman this tart pie, and she passed away.
yeah,
Poison.
um,
I love this line too. I want to say, and she justified it. Well, they said, why get rid of her? I might have still been thinking of staying. I think she was worried in the story, like she was worried that her husband was going to stay with this person or stay with like something's going to happen. So,
yeah,
and this is she justified. She goes, she poisoned my life, so I had to poison hers.
yeah."
I just like that line. That was before you said that, but I really missed that. Um,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry.
um,
Um,
and he's kind of
yeah.
like saying,
So
"You think you're smart? You got away scot free." And she's like, "Well,
yeah,
you got away too."
yeah.
But he thinks that
But
she did it was very like,
yeah, he thinks he did a better, like he did a more altruistic murder than she did.
yeah, yeah. Even though it
And
was horrible
yeah,
family homicide.
yeah.
Um,
But she says, she kept her marriage, so what she did was right. Um, and she said she'd have got sick on him almost certainly. She was just the type. She'd have been nothing but a burden to him and he saw that.
it's
And
like
this guy's
just
still concerned about himself.
and
It's like better
again,
not have put anything in the
I
megs.
want to remind the reader that she kind of made up this story because she is the woman that has
Yeah,
been cheated with. But like I feel like at this point she would like saying she said she would have gotten sick of him. Almost certainly she's not his type. She would
hmm,
have been nothing but a burden to him. I feel like this is like some guilt where she after
yeah.
all
This
these
is
years
her inner feelings about things, right?
about how she
Like,
thought about the affair, even if it was even if
hmm,
it was 30 years ago. She's kind of like this self-deprecating right now
yeah,
by saying like but she's doing it in a way because she's saying this she's saying the story like she's the winner, like she was the wife that did this to the home wrecker, but she's actually the home wrecker. So I'm like she's like justifying herself but also retelling it in a way that would maybe involves her showing her true emotions about the whole situation in general. And then he's so all the whole thing's happening, and he's like, "You better not be putting nothing in them eggs." Uh, and he's still, he's actually with that story. She says he's the one that's paranoid. He's like looking
yeah,
around and stuff that he's already eaten,
yeah,
and she's so cool. Like she's very. I think she's more menacing because she's so nonchalant.
yeah. And she said he says she says, "Of course I didn't. It's not something you'd go around doing regularly. I don't actually know anything about poison. It was just by chance that I had that one little piece of information." Um,
I think
and
that
something
was.
I don't,
I like that line too because I think even you were saying, Shiny, that like he has that little piece of information about him, and he has it,
mhm.
and or she has that information about him. He has that information about her. It was almost like exchanged for protection.
it 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 was the balance that
Yeah, yeah.
that they
The
needed in the
the free radicals,
situation.
the free radicals.
Yeah. Um, so, he says he needs the cars. And she's like, she kind of loses her train of thought for a minute. And then she's like, he reminds her the keys to the car. Where did you put them? And in this moment, she thinks it could happen. As soon as she gave him the keys, it could happen. Would it help to tell him that she was dying of cancer? How stupid. It wouldn't help at all. Death in the future would not keep her from talking today. Um, But, she says to him, "Nobody knows what I've told you. You're the only person I've told." So she tries to,
This exchange. It's like this little exchange,
yeah, you know this thing about me
and I know the thing about
that
you.
no
So
one else knows. Yeah.
let's like let me just use this to help each other. Just take the car and go, please.
Yeah.
And I think like so she's telling him where the keys are, and he's still rattled by thinking that maybe he's got poisoned, or I don't know. Like
Hmm.
he's a little bit affected by her demeanor. That he's like he tries to get the stuff out the teapot, and he breaks everything. Like
Hmm.
he can't find the keys. He breaks the blue teapot. Uh, and he's panicking. He's like fuck.
Yeah.
he
But
he
she
bet
tells him it's with the red string, and he finds the keys. Um,
he breaks the rest of the he broke the whole teapot
yeah,
over.
the whole pot. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it's
it's
like
broken. It's
it's a
gone.
lot of it's a big scene, and she even though she's calm and she has these like these little these I feel like these answers she's like oh with the red string on them, yeah, that one, like she has these very monotone answers. She's still scared to death.
Yeah, for sure. She doesn't know, which way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And he says, "So what are you gonna say about the car? You sold it to a stranger, right?" And she doesn't understand for a minute. Like, what does it matter? And then, um, she thinks, oh, maybe, I'll say thank you, but she can't really get it out properly. And he says, "Don't thank me yet. I've got a good memory, good long memory. You make that stranger look nothing like me. You don't want them going into graveyards digging up dead bodies. You just remember a word out of you, and there'll be a word out of me." So she's absolutely done what she set out to do.
Yeah, she wants to
She's
make
given
it. Yeah,
him ammunition so that he believes that he has something on her, and that will protect him.
yeah, yeah,
And he leaves.
yeah.
She hears the engine start, the car, and then die. He's so jumpy, he's doing everything wrong, but he gets it started and he drives off.
Well he drives off and he's like it's a little bit of apprehension because he can't get it started. So she's like, is he coming? Is he gonna come back?
Yeah,
And she's like
yeah.
waiting inside, like, oh my god.
He had said to her at one point that he'd taken care of the phone, and it's true. The phone's dead. She can't call anybody. Um, she uh notes that beside the phone there was one of the many bookcases, but it's got Rich's books on it. But also on his bookcase, there is a celebration of familiar fruits and vegetables, hearty and elegant dishes and fresh surprises, assembled, tested, and created by Bet Underhill. So his first wife has written some books about food,
Yeah.
some recipe books.
Mm-hmm. I can't.
Um,
I feel like that's kind of now in hindsight. I feel like that was a little symbolic. Like he thought like that was like she was the new woman, and
mhm,
she felt close to him because he was like, oh, you're so bookish, and you read so much, and we have that connection. I wish my wife had that connection. But then she goes into the
mhm.
study and finds that his wife was a author. She wasn't an author.
Yeah.
So it was like
No.
the one thing that maybe was a connection that she felt that she shared with him was really
Mhm.
something that he shared with her, his first wife.
Yeah.
And I feel like that remember like that guilt and living in a house of your dead husband that that you were into you went into the picture because of you were the homewrecker. Like it was she's realizing that it's really not hers, and maybe the things that she thought that she just shared with him weren't really that, Maybe he lied. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that she wrote a book. I think that she would have to be a reader of some sort.
Yeah, you would
So
think so.
yeah. So I just think that was I think that affected her to see
Yeah.
that book. It's almost like seeing them
Yeah,
together.
together.
Yeah.
But it's, she notes here that, she tried to cook from those books. So she knew about those books, right?
Mm.
Because it says once Rich had got the kitchen finished, Nita had made the mistake for a while of trying to cook like Bet. For a rather short while, because it turned out that Rich hadn't wanted to be reminded of all that fuss. Um, so, she's already known about these books. She's very aware of them, but she like learned things from them in that time that she was trying to use them, one of which was poisonous aspects of certain familiar and generally benign plants.
Yeah.
And she says she should write to Bet. Dear Bet, Rich is dead, and I have saved my life by becoming you.
Yeah. But like I said, you said impulsive thoughts, and why would someone say that? And I don't think his ex-wife would take to hearing the reason for their divorce, the person that's responsible for her marriage, her demise of her marriage, to go up to her and be friendly and say something like that. It is
Yeah.
it's almost like a hope. It sounds like somebody like she wants Bet to like her, or to she wants Bet to accept her, and she'll never get
Yeah.
that. And so it's like, so she made this story up. She got this murderer out of her house, but I think just the fact that she made this story up, and then she ended up being Bet, and then saw her situation, like she made herself the bad person in the story, even though, or she made herself the good person in the story when she was actually the bad person. Shows that she
Yeah.
was never really settled with this marriage. Like she may have she may have lived in the country with Rich and had this life, but I think in the back of her mind that she knew
It was
it,
always the other woman.
it was always the other woman. And I was talking to Shiny too about that. That when you have to do funeral arrangements, you have to contact. She would have to contact old people in his life, and definitely that would be. And some of those old people would known or more familiar with Bet than her. So it was like it would kind of open up those wounds again, having to deal with that kind of stuff because of what you have to do in a funeral, or I just do when someone
Yeah.
passes on, you have to contact people. But again, she's just thinking out loud and not in her right mind.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like, then she wants to, like, after this experience, she's like, I should get a cell phone. Like, she's like thinking she has to think like a widow now. Like, what
yeah.
like a woman living alone too.
But the first thing she does is just go to sleep. She
Yeah.
just needs to rest.
Yeah.
And she wakes up to a knock on the door,
Which
and it's
is
a policeman.
which is scary in itself. Another, like, a knock on the
Yeah.
door. I would be like, oh my god, is he back?
Yeah. Um and he asked if he knew where her car was, and she said it's gone. It was
There was a
over
police.
there.
I'm sorry. There was a police officer
Yeah,
there.
it's a police. Yeah, sorry, it's a police officer at the door, but it's not a village police officer. It's a provincial police officer. So, because this is Canada, so it would be like the difference between
A
the
state cop.
state police versus
Yeah.
the local police. So, clearly it's because it's part of a bigger investigation. It's not just about her car being stolen. And she plays dumb. She says it was over there. And he said, "You didn't know it was stolen? When did you last look out and see it?" And she's like, "It must have been last night. The keys were left in it. I suppose they must have been." And then he explains to her that there's been a bad accident, a one-car accident. It was the driver rolled it down into a culvert and totaled it, and that's not all. He was wanted for triple murder. That's the latest we heard anyway. So she was lucky she didn't run into him. And she asks, was he hurt? And the police officer says he was killed instantly. Um, so the very last bit of the story is that she gets a lecture from the police officer about leaving keys in the car because you're a woman living alone and you never know what could happen.
It ends but never know. Period.
Yeah.
So we have this kind of literally dodged a bullet
Yeah.
in in this whole exchange. But it was also, I feel like she had one person trying to be menacing, one person trying to be intimidating, and I think this when someone's not afraid to die, that could be the most intimidating person in the in the conversation. I mean, she had
Oh, for
cancer.
sure.
She has cancer, and she was likely to have it come back. And she just lost her husband. She's also not feeling adequate as his wife. She's in this house that was felt like it was hers with him, but now that he's gone, it feels more like his house and his old wife. So she's feeling like she's pretty down in the dumps.
Yeah, it's
So
not her best day.
It's more like, oh, what else can you do to me? So I just, her delivery throughout the story was so dry. Like, oh yeah, okay, so what happened next? So you're not a murderer? Well, okay, you're not a murderer. Like, that's the way she talked throughout the whole thing, and that, I feel, to a guy that is just killed the whole family,
Yeah.
he seemed more like bothered by her. Like, he seemed nervous.
Yeah,
And even though
for
she was,
sure.
but even though she was nervous, I guess that feeling, or that the visual aspects of having anxiety did not make the surface. I think she was so tired, she's so put out of it, that it just, I think her demeanor saved her more than anything. It made her intimidating. It made her think a little easier.
Yeah.
He still made mistakes. She still said
Hmm.
that it was her husband's car, and he died. Right? I think that did she tell him that
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. When he
or
asked, when she said it was her husband's car and he asked where was the husband, she said, oh, he died.
yeah. So she did make mistakes. She wasn't perfect in her execution, but she was pretty good. And whatever she did, I mean, and this guy drank more than he thought he could. Maybe
Yeah.
he was drunk, and he
Yeah.
pulled that car into a ravine or some ditch.
This Twitch slaps made a good point that this guy's view of women was already slanted negatively because he had his older sister that
Yeah,
he didn't like. You
that's a good
know,
point. That's a real good point. Yeah, but I mean, but I also thought like his view of women were meek people, and
mm,
I think he underestimated um,
oh, I think he for sure underestimated her.
this woman's grief.
Yeah.
But also as maybe if this person didn't come into her house, she wouldn't have that conversation about she wouldn't address the guilt she felt about breaking up this marriage. It was something she
Mm,
could put at bay, but when it came down to it, like what do you think? Your final, like, what are you gonna say? Like, in those moments, she thought she was gonna die. So
yeah.
what do you feel your final thoughts was? Is anxiety? Is like your biggest fears or your biggest
Yeah.
regrets? And that was, and like
Yeah.
she could have talked about anything else. She could have made a story up about poisoning her sister, but she made it about
Yeah.
poisoning herself.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
at that last moment, she she couldn't shake she couldn't shake as much as their marriage was beautiful, and like, they would do these things and exhibitionists
Yeah.
and all this. It's still in the back of her mind. She
She
knew
was
she
still the
was
other woman.
living in somebody else's house.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe this was what she needed to move on too. she could
Yeah,
make up a story.
possibly.
I don't know. Like it's just. I think if you're so affected by something, you might say it in a different. I forgot, we had another story that was like this. You say something you reframe it in a different way, so you accept it. It's easier to accept.
It was
Oh yeah,
the dark room.
No, not the dark room. No, it was the woman. It was it was a story about the nun that wrote the stories.
Oh, yeah. I think the dark room as well, though. The mom in the dark room didn't accept what was happening to her daughter. She
Yeah.
changed the story.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, you're right. The nun did as well.
The nun
Whatever badness happened to the nun, she altered that story.
Because if something
herself.
if something affects you so bad, you could just reframe the story, and if you read it enough, you'll believe it yourself. And it's like if the guy believed it.
The book I just finished actually was about that as well, because it was called The Savage Side, and it was talking about when you make something like some fabric arts, there's always the unfinished side, the wrong side, and the right side. And it was talking about taking the savage side and making it beautiful. One of the characters in the book just kept telling stories to make things more beautiful. The dad didn't die. The dad is at work and he's going to come home soon. Stuff like that. It is, this guy was telling himself a story that what he did was correct.
Yeah.
Nita was telling herself a story that she was the happy wife, living a good life, but she was still the other woman. It's very...
It's an insightful end right there.
Yeah.
But man, that's good. We have two big stories.
Big stories this
two
week.
Big stories. We're hitting the 4-hour mark right in the button right here. I mean, granted that we had a little bit of a technical issue, but that didn't last too long.
No.
But we do appreciate you, for those who stuck around and heard this. Thank you for contributing to the conversation. We're gonna these are two new authors to us. Well, not new to me, but like new authors done in the book club.
In the book club, yeah.
Yeah, so we hope to try new stuff out. Anything else there, Shiny? We're good?
No, I'm very tired now, but I
bet
made it.
Yeah, you made it. We're doing these book clubs late, and it's like we're putting Shiny into the wee hours of the morning.
It's Saturday morning for me now.
Yeah, and it's actually Saturday morning for me, which makes it really late for you.
Really late. But I'm really happy to do it. It's been good chat. So
been very good chat, and thank you all, Scalpel Jack, which Grok the Hod. Thank you. Anybody else in here? Am I missing Tatty? Chris, Peter, RC Purple Cat. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you enjoyed the stories. Well, please stick around. We post them. We like to give we post them. We give a week in advance, and we'll if you want to keep up with them, just please get I'll put the little Discord. Yeah, I'm glad Grok was saying like the prime time show. Yeah, we
I've proven that I can do it. So
we'll do it when we can.
This might be our new time slot. So
we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't want to try to push a good thing. I don't want to kill other people. So
no, I'm fine. Okay. I get to sleep in tomorrow. It's fine.
Okay, good. All right. Well, it helps me out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.